Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Midwestern Goodbye. And like most episodes, this is going to start partway through a conversation. Good luck figuring out what's happening.
It's the way government. Yeah, I was literally gonna bring it up. I'm like, we've been talking for like 2 hours.
Oh, it hasn't been that long, luckily.
Oh, okay. Either way,
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, a world without religion, and again, no scientific evidence to back this up, ironically, but yeah, I mean, you could really argue that the idea of at least financial charity, like monetary charity,
mm,
wouldn't exist. Because I believe that for the most part, that was kind of a
Yeah,
religious practice, like
charity
giving.
as it stands now would not exist because
Right.
charity is a religious thing.
Now, again, like we talked about, you could argue that instead of that, there would just be social safety nets in place, not because it is the quote unquote right thing to do or the moral thing to do, but because it's the most sensible, it's the most logical.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, we always start these podcasts like 2 hours into our conversations.
mm,
We're talking about a world where religion never existed, like the concept of religion, which was all brought up because of some anime I saw on Crunchyroll, Kamikatsu working for God in a godless world.
Mm.
So I don't know. Like, and yes, I mean, we already talked about colloquialisms immediately out the window. You
oh
can't
yeah,
say, oh my God. You can't say Jesus Christ. You can't say, heaven help
For
me.
fuck's sake, would be gone too.
Really? Why is that?
That's a religious thing as well.
It is?
yeah.
How?
I'm almost positive that also comes from the church. Here, let me look it up.
I thought it was just an English thing.
I thought that was a religious thing. I'm pretty sure it's a Christian thing. I think it
Uh,
comes from "for Christ's sake."
you are right. For the love of God.
Yeah, because like a
Wait,
lot.
hold on. That's a synonym. It's a synonym for the love
Ah,
of God.
do more
Well, we'll see.
googling.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. There is no etymology, but
It doesn't.
uh,
Let's
formed
see.
after for Christ's sake. I don't know.
Formed after for yeah, so it's a alternative for Christ's sake.
Mm.
Blasphemy used to express surprise, contempt, outrage, disgust, boredom, frustration. Yeah, yeah. Because I thought it grew from that.
Also, I forgot what it was, but
Bless you wouldn't
oh,
exist.
that was it. I actually thought of something. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder, you know the word G's, like Geez or whatever the fuck it is?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that word actually came about in a attempt basically to not take the Lord's name in vain. So instead of saying Jesus, you would say, ah, geez.
Hmm.
Maybe?
Hmm.
Maybe?
Maybe. Like
I mean, think
it,
about it.
it sounds like it could.
Right, like geez us. Like here it is.
Geez,
Here it is.
some.
I'm right. Etymology, euphemism for Jesus. You would go to this world, say, ah, geez, and people would be like, what?
Yeah, it's oh my god, geez, a
I
Semitic language formerly spoke. It's also a language spoken in Ethiopia, predominantly by the Christian Church in Ethiopia.
am. I mean, come on, like
It's
that's kind
weird.
of crazy. A word that is legitimately what people say to like be corny or like old timey, like, oh geez. It turns out it is a way to basically take the Lord's name in vain without taking the Lord's name in vain.
Hmm.
That's
God,
crazy.
shit. It's also like how advanced would theoretically um not just medicine in general, but uh psychological medicine be, because like instead of being like, he's possessed by demons,
Yeah, they
like
would again, and again, we already said this, but we'll say it again. The world would be probably more scientifically advanced in everything because
mhm.
instead of turning to the easy answer, which is, why let's go to the earliest thing, which is like, why does it get dark? Oh, well, you see, because the sun god needs to rest, or if you go by the Greeks, which is like, yes, the sun is being, the moon is constantly chasing the sun, but
We definitely don't get Dracula at all. He
no
doesn't show up
Dracula. There's
because
no supernatural period.
yeah, because you like it might exist in like it wouldn't be as prominent in society as it is in ours because it wouldn't last long because they'd be like, ah, that guy's someone would be like, that's a vampire, and then they'd be like, no, and then
Right.
and be like, and if it is, kill it. They wouldn't it wouldn't last long. Like I don't think.
Right. And again, another thing that we kind of reference is
Duplicate.
very similar, I at least believe, to a movie with Ricky Gervais, 2009, The Invention of Lying, which is about a world where the concept of lying has never existed. No one has ever lied before. And I mean, one of the aspects of it is that this man goes on to create like movies, like fiction movies, like we think of. And because of that, he is considered like, well, a prophet, but like his movies are gripping, his movies are engaging because, yes, he can just make anything because it's a lie. And I mean, I have to imagine that if you went to that world, right, with modern, like our current knowledge of mythology, of storytelling, of blah, 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 you could basically take a copy of Harry Potter, bring it over, file off, she who shall not be named's name, and say, I wrote this. And I mean, magic can't exist because magic was only formed as a concept to explain basically men and women who in the dark ages understood how medicine worked. They were like, no, you can't pray away your infection, but I do have these plants. And it was like, devil, magic, no.
God,
We'll die as God intended. And it's like,
mhm.
okay, bud.
Yeah, a lot of things just change and become very difficult. It's like, ah, like
You
I feel like the theory that we're not the center of the universe comes a lot faster without religion because
100%.
there's no reason to think you're important.
Right. That concept would probably not exist. Like the phrase, like, oh, you're the center of my well, maybe. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, the sun is still
Yeah, the sun would probably be thought of as the center of our universe and not Earth for
right.
however long it takes for them to figure out it's not.
But again, I would actually argue that probably what it would be is at least similar to how ours went, except without the like religious persecution
Hmm.
and basically burnings, which is, well, yes, I propose that Earth is at the center of the universe and that everything spins around it. We are
So
stationary, everything else is mobile.
without
And then some guy would prove the opposite, and he'd be like, "Okay, you're right. You presented the facts."
no religion, does that mean no spiritualism?
Probably.
Because then that
What?
would mean because then would the Native Americans then be a lot more advanced because they're no longer spiritual, so they have no need to
Probably.
be like, yes, let's only live as much as we need to off the land. Would they end
Ah,
up being like a superpower in the world in and of it themselves?
probably. I
Like,
mean, because again, but here's the thing, though, right? They, I mean, I think what would end up happening is that you would have so many cultures that just cease to exist, first off. Like,
mm,
who knows how many languages, how many practices, how many just societies would never have existed. But at the end of the day, if you live in a world that is driven not by any kind of spirituality, any kind of mysticism, I mean, you'd have a lot of very similar societies. Like one thing about the Native Americans is their reverence for nature because they viewed nature as holy, as something, like you must live in tandem with it. But if you live in a society that is completely logic driven, you'd have every society like that.
Hmm.
It's like so instead of what we're doing, which is like just figuring out like, oh, Earth's not infinite, they would have figured that out ages ago. And it would have been like, well, we need to develop technology that allow us to best make use of our resources without depleting them.
Yeah.
So essentially,
Outfucking
we have
ourselves.
to live in tandem with nature. Like that is logical. That is, that makes sense, right? It's
Mm,
there is no story about how God created Earth and all of its resources specifically for mankind. It's
true.
here because we got lucky.
Yeah, do we that's the thing. Because of that, do we care more or less about the earth?
More
Because that's
because
like
we would have to understand as most scientists do now. I mean, literally, Earth is called a Goldilocks. It's in the Goldilocks zone.
mm,
The chances of an Earth forming are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly small. Everything has to go exactly right. Like when you know that, right? Because here's the thing: religious people can always fall back on the idea of heaven, afterlife, whatever it is, right? Or if God can make one perfect planet, why can't he just make another?
hmm.
Like, yeah, there has to be some kind of religious thing which is just like, look, we might destroy the planet, but there's always heaven.
True, true.
Whereas if you live in a world that is entirely atheistic, I mean, not even
Mm,
atheistic, because that is not believing in God. The concept of atheism wouldn't even exist because
no.
again, you can't be atheist against something that you don't
Yeah, there would be no
understand
more
the concept of.
theisms.
Right. So, yeah, like it would be no of we can't use coal as an energy source because the effects that it'll have on the environment will be long-reaching and devastating.
Mm.
Our next best option is Mars, and it will take a very long time for us to make that habitable. Not not pleasant, habitable.
It's like without religion, it's like how depending on how separated people are, because like if people end up not getting separated and humanity for some reason stays as a whole, you might not even have the concepts of like money and nations, and I would hope that you would at least get to that point sooner.
I would hope so. I mean, that's kind of what Star Trek postulates, right? Which is a society that has completely abandoned its, not completely, but mostly abandoned its religious doctrine, its kind of nationalistic, outlooks, which is just we are all humans, we should be working together to, grow. Which again, Star Trek has always been the hopeful side
Hmm.
of the future,
Ah.
while also not sugarcoating it. Star
Hmm.
Trek, fun fact, Star Trek only happens like Starfleet, the
And then after
Federation.
like the world gets fucked.
Yeah, after a horrible nuclear devastating war, and then basically after that, as Next Generation put it, basically like kangaroo courts where you are like guilty until proven innocent, like mutants running amok, shit like that. So yeah, it's very much a thing where again, yes, has religion done great things for the world? I mean, of course it has. There's no way to get around that. And like we talked about, you could also argue that just because of how human beings are, unfortunately, human beings don't like things that are different from them. And there's also the argument that yeah, if you have a situation where there's no religion to separate people, they may focus more on other things that separate them,
Hmm.
like race.
Shit,
Now,
fucking humanity might not exist without religion. There might not be anything holding humanity back from killing itself. You never know.
possibly. I don't know if I don't know if I'd go that far. That's just me. I feel like no matter what, humanity does have self-preservational tendencies.
Mm,
You know, because at the end of the day, even if you want to call like war, right? Like all out war, you still need soldiers, like you still need people to fight in that war, which means civilizations, which means tribes, you know, societies, whatever. Just not societies based off of religious
mm.
differences. Honest to God, you could have it where like half the world is light skinned people, half the world is dark skinned people. Like literally split
True.
down the middle. Because yeah, it's like I, unfortunately, whether you like to admit it or not, humanity is a very aggressive species. We
Yeah.
are we are a species that is most defined by our advancements as a result of war. We are good at finding ways to kill animals and ourselves. That's what we're good at. Like it sucks. It sucks to say, like, we are not a scientific race. Like, if you want to categorize us in an aliens database, we're not a scientific race. We're not a hive mind. We're not a pacifistic race. We are a warmongering race.
Hmm.
We are the type of race where most of our alien sci-fi movies are about literally nuking the enemy mothership.
There's a whole subreddit about this called Space Orcs.
Yeah,
That is
we're space orcs.
literally, but that's literally us.
Right. And again, it might be Space Orcs, but there's also like a really long running joke, which is that humanity is fucking weird if you look at it from an outside perspective. You know, aliens would look at us and find a lot of the things that we do just very bizarre. For
Mhm.
example, spicy food.
Makes no sense.
Right. Spicy food is quite literally humans found plants that are mildly poisonous. Essentially, spice is essentially poison, but it's not
Mm.
deadly poison. I mean,
Oh yeah.
technically, it's not a poison, it's more of a chemical
Mm.
agent, blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the same thing with what is it? Caffeine and nicotine. Makes
Hmm.
no sense that people use that.
Right. It is something that your body reacts to in a completely, spice at least, like negative way. Like hot things, we sweat, we cry, our stomachs literally try to expel it as quickly as possible. And yeah, if an alien race looked at that, it's like, ah, so humans enjoy in their everyday food putting in self-harming agents, which cause them great distress and then great euphoria for having survived the experience. Fun fact, that's what you feel if you like spicy food. I love spicy food. Every time you get that little rush, like that, like, ooh, yeah, like, ooh, the spice, that's your brain being like, oh, thank God, we survived the poison.
Yeah, you're a masochist.
Essentially.
Oh yeah, I mean it's insane. And then we go out of our way to genetically modify them and engineer even worse versions of these things.
So this is actually something, no joke, I was talking about today with my dad. Have you heard of I think it's like the peanut challenge or
Peanut
the
challenge?
death peanuts?
Like the death nuts, like the super spicy nuts?
Yeah, yeah. Is it actually called death nuts?
I'm not sure. I know
Rooster Teeth did like a thing with like peanuts before, like super
So
spicy ones.
yeah, so basically there's like this tube of nuts that you can get. and it's essentially ever escalating Scoville levels.
Yeah, Death Nut Challenge.
Right. And the hottest one, at least from the one that I recently saw, was 13 million Scoville units,
Holy fuck.
which is so funny to me because, as a lot of people, at least my age, probably remember, there used to be a show called, actually, there might still be, I don't know if the new host is still doing it, Man versus Food.
Mm-hmm.
And I vividly remember back in the day, his name is Adam Richmond, I believe. Yes,
Yep.
Adam Richmond. He would be doing these challenges, spicy challenges, and it's like, I'm gonna be tackling wings drenched in habanero sauce. Which, fun fact, remember what I said. Those nuts, 13 million Scoville, 13 million. The hottest habaneros can go from anywhere from 150,000 to 575,000.
Damn.
The hottest pepper that they could think of back then, I mean, it's the ghost pepper, which most people nowadays kind of think of as like it's pretty bad. Like, it'll hit you. That's a million.
God, I'm good. The jalapenos are too much for me sometimes.
Fun fact, jalapenos, 8,000.
Mm.
8,000 Scoville units compared to the 13 million that one of those nuts are.
I'm
Which-
good. I'm
what is that?
good.
13 divided by, or we'll just do 13 million.
Shit.
Let's see, divided by 8,000. It is 1,625 times hotter than a jalapeno.
If you fed me one of those, I mean, one, I'm gonna die because my stomach will not take that.
100%.
But if I don't die, I'm gonna have to sit there in pain because I don't get to drink milk about it because then I'll be dying the next week. Do I want fire in my mouth or fire shooting out of my ass?
Exactly, and that's a crazy thing about humanity is we actually factually try to poison ourselves to make food more interesting. Like, that's insane. That is, and there are other things as well. Like, here, you know what? Actually, it might just be from humans or space works.
Probably. I love that.
I remember that there's some which is like it was something about pets or something, like, because there were a bunch of posts where it's like, imagine you're on a spaceship with humans, and your human is I don't know.
I read one about pets and I thought it was hilarious because all of the aliens were like, we need to kill this thing they call a cat because it is completely undomesticated and just keeps attacking the crew. And the human's like, no, it's fine, while being covered in scratches. I'm like, yep, that's a human for you.
100%. And humans don't make sense.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
one of the most common things about us is that we can form an emotional attachment to anything.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite, like, humans are space orc, like, posts is, like, one of the crew members walks into, like, this specific room and there's just like an apex predator like surrounding a human baby, and he's freaking out, and the human just walks in, hey, it's fine, shut up, stop worrying about it. It's really good with the kid, and the kid's not screaming right now. And it's like that is so much a human thing to do.
Right. The very top of all time, humans are space orcs. The galaxy was amused when they learned that humans have rules of war.
Yes.
They were less amused when they found out what humans do in war when there are no rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Logically, Like logically, of course you should have rules in war. Humans, it's like, so we're gonna see how far we can how far we can push the boundary until we have to have a special session to say we can't do this anymore.
Oh yeah, I might even have been that post, but I remember reading one where like someone like attacked one of their colony worlds, and they like called like a special session with like the all the people, like all the races, and they're like, okay, so like what are the rules for intergalactic war? And then they like laughed at humanity, and then humanity proceeded to gas or not glass every single world that these people owned, and like completely exterminate their species. It's like they kept attacking civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Rules exist for a reason. If you make civilians open season, might as well just destroy the whole planet. Which I mean,
Humans invented the concept of salted earth.
yeah. Oh my god.
There is no long-term advantage to salting the earth of a place that you have conquered,
Mm-hmm.
because it means that you can't grow food there either.
Yep.
And yet humans are so incredibly just tribalistically vengeful driven
Oh
that
my
they were
god.
like, not only are we going to kill your husbands and sons, not only are we going to destroy your great works and your cities and your homes, but we are going to make it so that no one will ever live here for what we can understand as the foreseeable future.
Mhm.
We
Shit.
will salt the earth.
We're just as bad when we're losing. The fucking Russians, every time they lost a line in World War II, they burned everything to the ground. The houses, the forts, fortifications, the barns, the fields, so that the Germans gained nothing by taking that land.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, if I can't use it, neither can you.
Right.
It's like that shit is insane.
I
Ah.
mean, I'm trying to find more of these because yes, like
Oh, they're great. I love. It's probably one of my favorite subreddits. There's so much shit. Some of them are fantastic, and then there's just also a lot of garbage in there. Because it's Reddit. Oh,
I'm trying to find these like
oh, there's beautiful ones like there's this one. Ah, yes, my bondmate and her 7 foot tall adopted Korgan son. That's also a human thing. We would definitely adopt the shit out of like orphaned alien babies. It's
Mhm.
like I don't care. I have fucking 3 animals that live with me, not even the same species of me that can't speak the same language as me. It's like, oh no, you look different. Oh well.
Oh yeah, like the idea that we cook our food, like we have to
Yes.
cook it in certain ways and like
Oh yeah. I I love that. Yeah, we
oh,
want my
making
food needs to vibrate at a certain frequency for me to like it.
yes. Oh, so I see that you like this food you call pizza. Here is this. And it's like, oh, that's cold pizza, man. No, I'm good. And it's like, but you like pizza. And it's like, well, I like warm pizza. Like, sorry.
I love.
And then another human next to them would be like, "Oh shit, dude, I love cold pizza."
Mhm.
The alien would be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, one of my favorite ones was these crew members were talking to an alien species, and he's just like I'm so good, I've got the human language down pat, and they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I've mastered the human language, and they're like, you're speaking Russian, there's like 3,000 languages on Earth, right? And the alien's like, what? How did you make it into space without one unified language? How do
Yep.
you communicate?
I mean, shit. Let's talk about the fact that people will judge food based on how pretty it is.
Yes, oh my god.
So you're telling me that you will refuse to consume sustenance which your body requires to function because it is not aesthetically pleasing enough? And it's like, it's got to be Instagrammable. It's like,
Oh, I love this one where it's talking about how aliens don't like to serve alongside human military because just like our military doesn't really sugarcoat shit anymore, and it's just like, hey friend, listen, I know the world is scary right now, but it's gonna get way worse. And that's like a very human thing. It's just like
Oh,
it sucks, and it's just gonna get worse. You just got to deal with it.
I saw a recent post that was like, fighting against humans must be fucking terrifying because our ideas of revenge, of like retribution, spans multiple generations.
God, it's insane.
If you kill like a man, his great grandson will come for your like for your house.
I've seen posts like that where it's like 1,000 years ago we killed this one general, and 1,000 years later his super far off descendant is now leading a ship against our people.
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's definitely how humans work.
Right. And again, you could realistically apply that to any long living like fantasy race, right? Like
Oh yeah.
elves have to be fucking baffled because it's
Oh,
like
it's been
I've killed many people in my lifetime. And it's like, you killed my grandfather 300 years ago. I have brought all of humanity against you. And it's like, dude,
I don't even remember. I'm a different guy. Like literally, it's been like 300 years. I'm a pacifist.
What did I kill him for? Like, was it honorable? And it's like, I don't know. I'm just here to kill you.
Yeah, the grudge is so old, I don't even remember, man. But
right,
it's got to happen.
It's that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Where Morty goes into that like dimension where time moves incredibly fast. And it's like they don't know why they're doing this, but they do know that like an evil guy who didn't even kill. He just what was it? He brought one dad into his world for about 20 seconds. And because of that, his child grew up and was like, oh, this is the monster. And then somehow an entire species was revolved around killing Morty.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, humans are so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. We're also we're weird, and we're also like very dumb, and we like refuse to see our own faults even when they're obvious, which I find hilarious. Just like all the time. Not related to that at all, but I came across a TikTok that I thought was so fucking funny. They're talking. It's these two guys, and they're talking about slavery. And one of the guys is Korean, and
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, like Korea, we never had slavery. And the other guy looks it up, and it's like Korea had the longest unbroken chain of slavery in the world.
1,500 years.
And I'm like, that's so fucking funny.
No, but here, what I respect about that, what I actually respect a lot about that clip is obviously at the beginning, whether it's satire or whether he was actually being serious, which he might have been. The moment that like he was presented with the facts, he was immediately like, oh my god, we're monsters.
Yes. It's like, oops.
I respect the fact that he could backpedal that hard and be like, "Oh man, fuck Korean people, Jesus Christ."
Yeah.
Also, I just found this one, which is humans are weird because they have the ability to throw things with accuracy and
yes, that is weird.
Apparently, except for apes, which mind you, apes can't throw as hard as us, and they can't do accuracy. There are no other creatures on Earth that have the ability to throw things like we do.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, like
we mastered throwing.
Yeah, what are the chances that another alien race evolved with the ability to throw?
Oh yeah, like, one of them is literally like, since we did throwing, we evolved to like firearms and guns and rockets and stuff. But other aliens never threw things, so all their weapons are hand based.
I feel like the concept of projectile would still be eventually thought about.
It might be thought about, but underutilized if it's not like a thing they're biologically like capable of. Like they might not have ever gotten to that point. It's like maybe it's they don't throw because they don't have good depth perception or judge of distance.
Could be.
I mean, it would be cool to be like, we show up with futuristic guns and they all have lightsabers. It's like, we might not need to go to war. We might just be able to trade and work this out.
Possibly. Yeah, but I mean, like, even this post, like, if you don't want to look at it from a war perspective, oh yeah, here it is. What if the concept of projectile weapons takes most species forever to get the hang of? And it's, yeah, like, a human is on a multi-species spaceship, fucking has a balled up piece of paper, Kobe's it into the trash can. Like, it's like, how did you do that? How did you, do you have, like, bionic implants that allow you? And it's like, nah, dude, I played basketball when I was young.
Oh my god! It humanity it for all of our faults. I have to be like, I love this race and I find it hilarious. Like this one on Space Orc. Satan, 5 days into Armageddon, realizing humans are already adapting and started making memes about the demons. It would definitely happen. If the internet still exists, there's definitely memes about demons.
100%. There would be memes about other species, and they wouldn't understand them.
They would not like it.
Hell, let's talk about human humor.
Oh my god.
Can we talk about the fact that probably for most aliens, humor would be a relatively static concept if they don't evolve the same way humans do with our many differences? Like that's entirely how humor has evolved the way that it has, is because of cultural and generational differences, which most of those generational differences are exposure to more cultures.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine explaining to aliens? Let's just go with a classic at this point, an old, outdated meme. Let's go with the meme of E,
Oh my god.
the Markiplier E meme. You show that to an alien, and they're going to be like, "Yes, I have studied your language. You do have, in fact, have a, a whatever you want to call it, a pictographic, representation of, as you call it, an E in your language." And it's like, no, you don't get it. Like, it's funny, like E, and they'd be like, F G H. It's like, yeah.
I love this stuff like that. Like I read one where it's like aliens don't have they don't have the concept of lying, so they don't have like books and movies like we do, kind of like the Ricky Gervais movie. So like one like warmongering species doesn't attack Earth because they've seen Superman movies and they think Superman's real. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't have the concept of that shit, fucking human movies are terrifying. Yep. Especially since we've thwarted off alien invasions forever.
Right. Or, I mean, think about it. So in a society that, I don't know, again, the differences would have to be pretty stark, but let's talk about a society where it's like the idea of harm is, like something that should be immediately taken care of, right? You could legitimately talk about like an American or just any soldier who's like, oh, the one guy in World War II, the guy who basically got every part of him shot, burned, cut off, whatever. I'm gonna try to find him as I talk about this.
You talking like the Finnish guy who had like his mangled face and stuff?
Yes, the guy who was like, I had a good time. or no, his was I enjoyed the war.
Yeah, humanity's.
No. But think about it. You talk about a society that, this guy, Adrian Carton de Huart. Weird. Let's see, what is it? Here it is. He was shot in the face, head, stomach, ankle, leg, hip, and ear, was blinded in his left eye, survived 2 plane crashes, tunneled out of a prison of war camp, tore off his own fingers when a doctor declined to amputate them. Describing his experience in the First World War, my bad, he wrote, frankly, I had enjoyed the war.
That's some metal shit right there.
Imagine describing that to an alien race, that when they get injured, they, see the logical thing of like, oh, Get him off the battlefield. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? He did what?
Mhm.
They shoot a human in the leg and they're like, haha. And now he'll have to spend a
Oh yeah,
lot of time healing and he keeps coming at you.
like that's the thing. Like, what if they don't have the same concept of like fighting to the last breath that humans do? Like, shit, like the fucking Japanese during World War II, they literally didn't stop. It, that man could have missing legs and would keep coming at you.
Right.
Like,
A,
that's
a human
insane.
a human loses a leg in the war. Like let's talk sci-fi war. Goes and gets a cybernetic implant so that he can go back to war.
Yes. When the medic shows up, he's like, "How long till I get back out there?"
Right. Here's another great one. Our obsession with needing to go fast.
Oh my god.
So here it
Gotta go
is.
fast.
It's like the universe talking to a human, and it's like, okay, you're a human. I gave you free will and a conscious mind, so you're free to do whatever you want to do. So what do you do? Human, go fast. Well, you're a perfect pursuit predator, but if that's the way you want to evolve, go ahead. Human, climbing on a horse, go fast. Human inventing the carriage, the car, and the bullet train, go faster. The universe, like, I implore you to stop. And then human trying to figure out light speed travel, faster.
Oh my god.
Now,
Yeah.
mind you, a, a sci-fi universe where like multiple species can interact. Obviously, they've all figured out light speed travel, but
Oh yeah. But it's like the pathway might be vastly different of how one of us got there.
right, it's like well, yes. I mean, we wanted to develop this so that we could explore more parts of the universe, and humans are like, we wanted to see if we could do it.
Ah, how did your people invent flying? Was it also for the need for mass continental communication? No, it was just two guys in a barn that were bored.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I feel like that would be the main standout difference between humanity and a lot of other species. I feel like a lot of our inventions come out of like pure boredom or just
Right.
like two people you left alone for too long.
Oh, tell me, how exactly did you kind of, discover, like wavelengths and things like that, for like radio and like, oh, well, a scientist, and it's like, that's a good start. He had a bar of chocolate in his pocket and it melted. So he decided to make a machine that could heat things. So he made the microwave, which is how we discovered about microwaves.
It's insane. It makes no sense. Humanity makes no sense. It's like,
We're
how'd you discover penicillin? Like one of your greatest things. Oh, just like some of the bacteria the scientist was fucking around with started dying. And he's like,
no,
huh.
even even crazier, even fucking crazier, which would legitimately terrify an alien. It's like, ah, yes, I see that you've discovered penicillin. Truly a great invention. We discovered it, because of local fauna or like, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, cool. Our scientist figured it out because he gave himself ulcers.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yes. Like, I'm sorry, what's an ulcer? And it's like, oh, it's when our stomachs stop performing correctly, so the acid starts to eat away at our own like stomach. And it's like, and he did that on purpose. And it's like, yes.
Oh my god. Aliens would be freaked out about a lot of things, I think. Especially like how affectionate we are with inanimate objects.
Mhm.
Like the guy who loses his leg in the war and gets his metal leg, he's gonna refer to that as a person and like talk shit to it. Like I do that to my own leg that is part of my human body.
Mhm.
I talk shit to it like it's another person.
I mean, let's talk about the simple fact of the Mars
Of Mars
what was it?
rover.
Yeah, whichever one it was for the happy birthday song.
Oh,
Right. You think it's a sad thing, right? But see, the thing is that that wasn't on accident. That wasn't a thing where it's like humanity like, saw a pattern where it doesn't exist because we wanted to, attribute human traits to this robot. The scientists designed that into
Mm.
it. There's even reports like, that they talk about, which is they baked a cake at Mission Control for a non-sentient, like just piece of technology, and then had it sing like happy birthday because humans want things that they can connect to.
Oh yeah, that is just the human thing. It's just like, friend, okay.
Yeah, like it sounds like the saddest thing in the world until you realize it's basically like humanity wanted their little robot friend to be like a person.
hmm we
So
love
so
to
they
attribute human emotions to things that do not have it.
yep.
Like we definitely do it to birds. See a bird sitting in a tree above your car, and your car's covered in shit. It's like, why did you do this to me, bird? What did I do to wrong you? Why did you single me out? The bird it doesn't. The bird doesn't even know you exist. It's not even functioning. Like, come on. It it's so weird.
Oh, that's another thing. Um, any logical based species, weather.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes, we have strategically built our cities in locations where the weather is the most, whatever you want to call it, advantageous for us. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I grew up in the mountains.
Mm.
It's like the mountains, yes, where it's regularly extreme colds and snow. Yes. Why? I think snow's pretty.
It's not as bad as Dave over there. His city's in the middle of a desert.
Hmm. I like the heat, and it's like, but how do you grow things? And it's like, oh, we don't.
Yeah, we just ship it in.
Yeah. What about water? We ship it in.
It,
Huh.
I also love that concept from Humans or Space Orcs. We grew up on a death world. Yeah, basically, this world is actively trying to kill you. It even the nicest parts of Earth are not really conducive to surviving long term.
Right. It's and then we built sports around enjoying the conditions that are meant to kill us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like snowboarding. What's snowboarding? Oh, it's where you take this wooden board and you go to the top of the mountain and then you ride that board all the way to the bottom while avoiding obstacles and like jumps. And it's like,
Yeah.
that sounds extremely dangerous. It's like, well, we wear a helmet.
You know how we built society and city and stuff to stay out of nature and not have to deal with that? I like to go camping.
Hmm.
I think it's really fun to get away from all of the comforts and safety of society and just walk into a random woods and just try to live for a week. It's humanity is so weird. Shit, they'll definitely aliens would definitely be like, "What's wrong with your biology?" It's like you got a cold, and then your body is like, "Okay, we're gonna raise the temperature so high in here, either it dies or I die." It's like that's not how you should do that. Fucking humanity makes no sense at the best of times. Ugh.
The one that I'm reading. It turns out Tumblr is the best place for this.
Oh yeah, a lot of them are on Tumblr.
A very basic part of human, I guess, nervous system is the ability to feel pain when we are injured.
Mm,
Obvious, right? You
mm.
should be able to feel pain because if you can't, I mean, that's a legitimate thing that some people have, and it's bad. Until you remember that sometimes even people who are completely normal in their nervous system, because they're not paying attention, they will legitimately just show up with cuts. And like, you'll wake up and you'll be like, oh, I think I like bruised my leg.
Hmm.
It's like, when'd you do that? It's like, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. And it's like, how were you not paying attention when you were injured?
Yeah, I definitely run into that a lot.
And again, it's the same thing where it's like, so you're injured, so why are you still doing things? And it's like, dude, it's just a bruise. And it's like, well, yes, but it's ruptured blood vessels basically. And it's like, well, yeah, but we have a lot of those. Like, it's cool. Like, it just hurts if I touch it. And then we'll touch it.
Yeah, I've done that so many times. Just be like, ow, ow.
Exactly.
It's like, why?
Exactly. I
I'll give it to the human body to sometimes ignore shit like that. It's like I've had a bruise on my chest before, like right over like my pec, like my left pec, and I have no idea how I got it. So I'm like, normally I don't just get bruised on the chest. I'm like, did I punch myself in the sleep? It's like, how the fuck does this shit happen? Oh my god, it. Mm. Oh yeah, man. Oh yes, I love this. God, I have made mankind angels. You fucked up a perfectly good monkey is what you did. Look at it. It's got anxiety. God.
Oh, that's another weird thing. It's basically like, why is the human upset? And it's like they uh they saw a leaf. It was like blowing in the wind, and they thought it was pretty, and then it got like caught in the engine, so it burned up, so they're sad. Or just, like, oh yeah, they're having like an existential crisis, and it's like, what do you mean? And it's like, like they're worried about like their place in the universe, and like, they're thinking about how space is infinite and they're an infinitesimal dust in it, and it's like, how do humans survive? And it's like, sometimes we watch like sad movies to make ourselves feel better, and it's like,
Mm.
you watch sad things to feel better, and it's like, yes, I like to. Sometimes it's good to get a cry out, which is
Yeah.
another thing. It's like you release essential like moisture when you are upset, and it's like, yeah, that's how you know we're sad.
Mhm.
It's like, but you have said you're sad before, and you were not crying, and it's like, well, yeah, that's only when we're like really
Yeah,
sad.
that's a
Sometimes,
different kind of sad.
yeah, sometimes we're just sad like on different levels. It's like,
Yeah.
huh.
There's sad, and then there's like sad.
Oh,
That's
I understand. And it's like, oh, so this human is not that sad. It's like, no, they're actually the most sad. They're depressed. And it's like, but they're not crying. And it's like, yeah, you don't always cry when you're like super sad. It's only sometimes.
yeah.
And some people just don't cry. And it's like, then how do you know someone's sad? And it's like,
Mhm.
usually, like they tell us.
Yeah. And you got to watch out. The people that are the most sad usually look the happiest.
Yeah.
You really got to watch out for those ones.
Yeah. So how do you know that they are sad? And it's like, we don't. But they are, though. They're the saddest.
What you got now? If you especially if the human is a male, what you're gonna want to do is get multiple of them in what we call a Discord call late at night. That's when they talk about everything.
Yeah.
It's some sort of like an anonymity thing where they feel like they're talking to nobody.
Right. And sometimes if people are sad, they'll start to drink, and it's like, drink what? Oh, alcohol. What is alcohol? It's basically like a toxic, beverage that we drink, which starts to like release our inhibitions. It makes us feel better in the moment. And it's like, oh, it's like a form of like therapy. And it's like, no, because usually you don't remember afterwards,
Mhm.
because at a certain point you black out. So you just don't remember what happened. And it's like, why do you do this? And it's like, well, because we feel good. Oh, okay. And it's like, except the next morning when you have a hangover. What's a hangover? It's where your entire body is basically recovering from the mass amount of poison you put inside of it. And it's like, so why do you drink? To feel good. How many times do I have to tell you this?
It's a depressant. Get over it.
Yeah, it's a depressant that we use to stop being depressed.
Yeah. Uh, God, humanity is so fucked. Because, like, you would have to explain to aliens, it's like, okay, so there's two genders. Or, okay, there's two sexes.
Yes.
And they're very different, but also exactly the same.
Hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at this one study thing right now. a percentage of self-administering shocks when people are left in a room alone. Women,
Yes.
25%.
Yes.
Men, 70%.
Yep.
That is 100% right. I would also just like, fuck, I gotta do it. I need to know what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. There's a really great study about people who are left in the room with a shock thing, right?
Mm.
And, you know, like, I think for the experiment, what they would have them do is they would be like, hey, please, you know, it's basically about boredom. And it's like, please touch the device. And it shocks them. And they're like, ah, geez, ooh. And it's like, clearly you don't want to do that again. So we're just going to leave you alone for like the next hour or 30 minutes or whatever it was. And what they found was that, you know, because they didn't have phones, there were no books, nothing. People, even though they knew that the device would hurt them, like it would shock them, it would be unpleasant, they still went back and did it again because some part of our weird monkey brains was like, A, I'm bored. And
Maybe it
B,
won't hurt
it
next
would,
time.
yeah, exactly. It's like, well, maybe this time, like maybe I'm more used to it. It's like, shit.
Mhm. It's that like stupid human thing of I gotta test my limits because why not? And like I get it. Like it's also like a lot of it is also just like that pseudo man bullshit too of like why guys do this dumb shit. It's like, what do you mean? I could totally take it. I want to grab that electrified fence. I've seen that video a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely won't be doing that anytime soon. Unless someone calls me a wussy, then I have to do it. Ah, that is the man code. Oh my god. Oh god, it would also just be so hard to explain introverts and extroverts to like aliens. It could be like, okay, so these people of humanity, they want you to talk to them. They're gonna come up to you all the time, and like all this other stuff. But these other people, they're introverts. They're gonna want to be left alone and like not deal with you. But then they'd be like, but isn't that being depressed? No, it's not the same for these types of people. That one would throw me for a loop. It's like,
100%. I mean, it's weird. And again, yes, I am sure that like aliens would look at humans as these incredibly inefficient, like, again, if you're talking about a logic-driven race, I mean, shit, let's talk about organization.
mm,
Have listeners who are none, have you ever had it where you have lost a shoe? You know, those things
mm.
that you wear every day. Have you ever had it where you could find one shoe but not the other? Dan?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You should probably have designated places to put your shoes every time, like a bin or something.
Hmm.
Do you, Dan? Do you have
No,
bins? Oh, that's weird. Why not?
because no.
No, but honestly, why not?
I mean, so technically, I do have a designated spot to put my shoes. I have like a little shoe rack under like the mirror. I
Hmm.
just never do it.
Yeah, because oh, it's fine. I can find it.
And whenever I do put my shoes there, I can never find them because I never put my shoes there.
Exactly. You designate a place, you put it there once, you have a hard time finding it because, ironically, you're more used to where you will randomly place it
Mhm.
than purposefully place it.
Oh my god. Mm,
And it's, I
Oh my
mean,
god.
shit.
I.
Have you ever had a wobbly table, Dan?
Oh my god. Yes.
How did you fix it? Did you get
Folded
a
up.
new table?
Nope. Folded up piece of paper.
Oh, that's weird. Wouldn't it be more efficient just to get a new table?
No, but this is
But you
my
fixed it.
table. Yeah.
You fixed it, right? It's like it's fixed, and it's like, but it's not. But it is though.
Mm, I've
And it's
had
like,
this.
well,
Oof.
or like hell, the fucking put books under it. And it's like, what if you need those books? And it's like, then
I'll
I'll
get
take
it.
it out and I'll replace it with a different book.
Yep. Oh my god. The fucking shoe thing. That is me with my slippers and my
Hmm.
headphones all the fucking time. Because like I mean I even have like a designated spot for my headphones. Like I tell myself they're gonna I have a sword that hangs on in my like doorway entering my room, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I have like my bracelets and my necklaces and stuff hang there, and my hair ties when I'm not using them. And I'm like, okay, this is where I'm gonna put my headphones every time. Never fucking put them there. It they're either always in the bathroom, hanging off the shower curtain, hanging off my vacuum, hanging off the the coat rack, on a chair in the kitchen, in the garage, or underneath my bed. And I never know which one, so I have to look in all of those places every single time. And I never know where my slippers are because I put them on pretty much immediately when I get home from work because I don't like walking around barefoot. And then I'll just take them off whenever I feel like I don't want to wear them anymore. And it just happens anywhere. They've
Right.
been outside, in the bathroom, under tables, underneath my dog.
Right. And of course, it would make sense. Just put them in the same place every time, a designated place.
Mhm. Man,
But no.
I lose my water bottle, and this motherfucker is a giant 1 gallon metal water bottle, and I'm just like, I have no idea where it is. It's always 2 feet from me, but I can never find it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things about humans that are weird when you think about it from a alien perspective. And again, even basic things like the fact that our bodies heal themselves.
Hmm.
Now, mind you, almost every living organism does this, right? Like, but
Carbon-based organism.
right, carbon-based organisms. But yeah, if we ever run into a non-carbon-based organism, yeah, that's weird. Or just think about it, like there's technically nothing that says that our bones need to heal.
Hmm.
Like,
True.
why do your bones heal? And it's like, I don't know. It's like I remember one time I broke 3 ribs, and it's like, then they healed. It hurt, but it healed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got a
Oh,
brain injury one time, and it's like your brain was injured, and it's like, yeah, but it got better though.
yeah. Our brains aren't. You know how we like to be violent and move around fast and smash into shit a lot? Yeah, our brain doesn't like that. It's suspended in fluid and smacks into our skull, and there's nothing we can do about it. Helmets actually don't work.
Right.
Why you wear them is beyond me. Oh my god. Humans are real fucking weird. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We definitely don't eat anything that can digest us, like pineapples, which literally has what brolamine that breaks down protein. What are we made out of? Proteins? That's why your mouth is tingly when you eat broccolis or not broccoli, pineapples because it tries to digest you.
Yep.
It's
And
fucking.
it is an huge like delicacy, whatever you want to call it, on Earth. It's like, oh, dude, I love pineapple, which is essentially like saying I like the plasma kind, whatever you want to call it, like semi-solid formation of this acid.
Yep.
That's it. We have a fruit that we enjoy, which is basically acid. And it's like, yes, I like it on my pizza with tomatoes, which are also acidic. Ooh, you know what? Actually, I really like it with tomatoes, pineapple, and pepperoni. And it's like all three of those are extremely acidic. And it's like, yeah, I like I like savory foods. And it's like, why do you have such a positive word for something that hurts you? And it's like, ah, well, sometimes I like to feel the burn, and it's like burns are bad, and it's like, nah, but it's like a good burn.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like everything is odd at the end of the day. Again, do I honestly believe, and it's already kind of happening, that one day humanity is going to move to a not necessarily atheistic, but at the very
Mm.
least a more logic driven society? Yes, 100%. And I legitimately do hope that there are opportunities for humans to humans to confuse other species. I would love nothing more than to find out that yes, there are aliens and they are confused by how humans have survived.
Mm-hmm. All,
So
all, all I hope is that when we find aliens, we're like, we end up being like the Star Trek that humanity can be and try to bring the universe together, and not the Warhammer that I feel like we are, and just like burn the universe to the ground and be like, fuck
right.
the Xenos.
Which is such an odd thing to me, and I'm not yucking anybody's yum. I'm not a big Warhammer person,
Mm.
mostly because that's some dense ass lore,
Oh, it's so much.
but also because it is just incredibly depressing. Everything is bad.
It,
Like the Warhammer universe is all about xenophobia, warmongering. There are no quote unquote good guys, religious zealotry on almost every level. And
mm,
then, just for fun, they also add in multiple, like, eldritch horror levels of just, opposition.
hmm
Ah, yes. What is it? The robot people.
with the Necrons.
Yes, the Necrons. Can just let's talk about the Necrons. The Necrons are a society that basically a traveling salesman came by and was like, "Hey, you know what your people could use? A little bit of artificial like life." And they're like, "That sounds pretty good." And then it turns out that no, he was a snake oil salesman and he gave it to you, but now also like, you're basically a hive mind that is ruled by, something else. And it's like, what a depressing universe. And that's before we start talking about things like what the fucking xenomorphs or the not the xenomorphs,
uh,
what are they called?
Tyranids.
Yes, the Tyranids.
Okay, I was like, there's so
The
much stuff. I need more.
Yes, the classic sci-fi race, which is all about mass evolution through consumption of other living creatures so that they can better, conquer planets and
hmm
take all their resources. What a fun universe to live in. Yes, please.
I don't want to live in that universe. I really don't. And then you
100%.
got fucking orcs. I believe. Oh my god, they make no sense.
If we put flames on the spaceship, it makes it go faster.
Yep.
It's like, no, that's not how it scientifically works. And it's like, that's okay. We're also psychic.
I love it. Sir, we ran out of bullets. What do we do? Just make banging noises and they'll think we still have bullets and die.
Yep. I mean, it's insanity.
Mhm.
And by the way, if you have a friend who says that their number one place, like if they could go into a fantasy setting, is Warhammer 40K,
They're insane.
that person is a psychopath.
God, I wouldn't even want to be a fucking Primarch in 40K. That's horrible too.
Oh, I'm sorry. You use psychic powers like the orcs do? Oh, there is a non-zero chance that if you use telekinesis, you will summon basically an archdemon.
hmm
Like you'll
God,
you'll summon Lucifer, and it's like, but why? And it's like, I don't know.
God, there's like no one I would want to be. There's two angels that I can think of. I think one's like Saint Celestine or something. She's like an angel woman. She just dies like all the time. She gets like it gets her ass kicked, but she like resurrects in like times of need when people need her. But she can still just be killed by the enemy.
Yep.
And then there's like another angel guy that like the emperor made to like solve like I think war basically. Like he's super strong, but he's fucking insane. Like I think
Yep.
his thing was like he wanted to like destroy enemy because that or not enemy like humanity because that would like stop chaos or something. And it's like oh my fucking god. Even
Probably.
even the good thing and you don't want to be the emperor because he's a fucking corpse on a throne.
Allegedly, if he even actually exists.
Yes, he could just not exist.
Like,
Oh my god.
again, and again, especially, and I'm this is actually more or less a PSA at this point. If your friend says that they would love nothing more than to live in the Imperium of Man, your friend might be a secret Nazi.
Hmm. Shit, I wouldn't even
You're
want to live with the Tau, and the Tau are like the only kind of good people.
kind of good. Kind of.
Mhm. I'm almost positive that, if I remember correctly, when humans defect to the Tau Empire, they get like castrated so that they can't make more humans, and then like an
Fantastic.
inhibitor chip put in or some shit.
What a good universe.
Fucking
Jesus
awful.
Christ. At least in Star Wars, you can just pick a planet and live there and you'll be fine.
I do like fucking 40K for the fact that it's just like, oh, we found this one planet. There are dwarves here. Like fantasy dwarves? Yeah, space is big.
Mhm.
And there's fucking elves.
Right, which is where fucking Warhammer, whatever it is, Warhammer Fantasy or whatever
Hmm.
comes into play.
It's just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I would definitely take Star Wars if I had to be like, between Star Wars or Warhammer. Give me fucking Star Wars. I'll just find a planet to live on.
Right.
I'll
And
make
here's the
just
thing. No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
I'll just make sure the planet's not important. So I
Yeah,
don't have to worry about the Empire blowing it up.
right. Like as a normal person, super easy. Because again, and again, we're assuming that you have a start where you could live your life.
Mm,
Not basically naked in a field.
yeah.
Um, but it's like, yeah, you could just go to a random planet and just be like, shit, you could be a moisture farmer.
Mm,
Um, but if you even want to talk about like, oh, you're a special person, you're a Jedi, which at the very least, yes, there are occasional jihads against the Jedi from other Force users,
mm,
admittedly. But at the very least, when you use your powers, you don't have a chance to summon Satan.
hmm. Yeah, that's
When
it.
when
Good.
you pick up a rock, you just pick up a rock.
Hmm. See, it's fine. I wouldn't even mind if I was a Jedi, 'cause I'd be like, you know what? Their tactics won't work against me. You could start executing every single person in this city. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, I don't think you're a Jedi at that point.
I know, but I'm just like, I'm gonna leave. I'm also not gonna use like Sith powers, like at least if I can help it, because it really seems like it just makes you evil, and
It
then
is.
and evil makes you die.
No, no, that's actually the thing. That's the scariest part about being in the Star Wars universe if you are a Force user, is that in most fantasy settings, being evil is essentially a choice, right? And I'm not saying that in Star Wars it's not a choice either, but at a certain point, it stops being a choice.
Hmm.
The dark side is not some nebulous thing where it's like, oh, you're using hurtful powers. The dark side is a living entity essentially that legitimately corrupts the minds of those who use it and enhances their negative habits and tendencies and, essentially lowers inhibitions.
Hmm.
The dark side is actually basically a parasite. It is an infection that you get in Star Wars. Like, yes, of course. The whole thing is always like, well, why doesn't he just, like if you go by the extended universe for Star Wars, multiple of the Skywalker children past Luke Skywalker have become Sith Lords. I mean, shit, we'll talk about Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren killed his dad. It's it's not because that was I mean, weird. Okay, Kylo Ren's actually a bad example because he is actively making choices.
Hmm.
Because
He's trying to
his
be a bad guy.
right, but like, what is it? Fucking not Anakin. Anakin Solo, I think.
Mm.
I think he became a dark side user, or
I
I
know
don't know.
that his like Luke's like great 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 grandson, like 1,000 years in the future, becomes a Sith because he's
No,
just
he
like,
he
mm,
he Well, I mean, he becomes a Sith in like I was temporarily corrupted, but then I broke
Mm,
free of it. He actually just wants to be nothing.
mm.
But
Hey, isn't
no,
that the
like
guy that smokes the cigarettes so that
yes,
he doesn't see Luke anymore? It's like, stop.
yes, and Luke is basically like, hey, could you like could you like do things? And he's like, no. But yeah, I mean, it is legitimately a thing where oh, Darth Vader. Darth Vader's a great example.
Mm,
So Darth Vader, at least in the new canon, has to essentially bleed his lightsaber crystal
mhm.
red. Like he has to take a Jedi's crystal and then torture it, literally torture it, put hate and negativity into the kyber crystal until it literally bleeds to red. And while he's trying to do that, basically the Force shows him a vision of, hey, bud, just just be a good guy. And it shows him basically what would happen. He goes, he kills Palpatine, he reunites with Obi-Wan, he basically reconnects with fucking Luke, like and Leia, like he gets to have a life. And the dark side essentially has poisoned his mind so much that he chose not to do that.
Mhm.
Not really chose, because again, at that point, it's basically not his choice anymore. But yeah, it's like the Force showed him you can have a good life still. It'll be hard, but you can still have a good life. And the dark side of the Force was basically like, yeah,
Hmm.
but then you can't kill bitches. and Darth Vader was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I do like killing people.
It's pretty fun.
Thanks, evil voice in the that whispers in my ear.
Mhm. Shit, like it
No.
is hard to come back from being a Sith.
Yeah. It's it's basically I'm trying to think. It's like coming back from I'm trying to think of like a mental disease that wouldn't be offensive. I
Mm.
can't say like Alzheimer's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Literally coming back to who you were.
Exactly. Like you are a different person when you are Alzheimer's because you have lost yourself. Again, when Darth Vader says I killed Anakin Skywalker, he's not being metaphorical. Darth Vader is a different person than Anakin Skywalker. He just happens to be using his body.
Yep, there's a reason why Anakin Skywalker is the Force Ghost and not Darth Vader.
Exactly. The Force can be scary. Don't get me wrong. It can be very scary.
Fucking
Not as
terrifying.
sca- not as scary as Warhammer.
Oh no.
Warhammer is like physical terror. The Force is basically like, hey, just don't be a bad person.
Mm.
Hey, if you're like, don't kick the puppy.
Shit, even if you're born on a perfect world and nothing's going wrong and you're living a normal life, oh, a chaos cult moved in. Oh, there's a demon in the middle of your city. Oh, everyone's dead.
Or even better, you are living a perfectly normal life under the Imperium of man. The Imperium gets a rumor that a chaos cult has set up.
Mm,
Whether it's real or not, who knows? They will legitimately send basically exterminatus and be like,
yep.
well, gotta purge this whole colony.
Oh shit, did you accidentally see a Grey Knight? Oh, gotta kill ya.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say that the Emperor might not exist? Gotta kill ya.
Mm-hmm. Up, he sneezed while I was praying. That's a heretic thing.
Yeah, fuck that. The same way that I would never live in the D&D world.
Shit. And that's the thing.
Nope.
If you had to live in Warhammer, pray to God, especially that the only space marines that you come across are the salamanders.
Mm,
Because every other one does not care that you exist and will just let you die or
yeah,
kill you themselves.
that's another thing. Fucking the Space Marines are supposed to be the heroes, basically, of the Warhammer universe. They're not.
They
Almost,
do not care.
almost, almost all of them to a T are also evil.
Yep.
They're just different. They're just a different like flavor of evil.
Mhm. They're just not chaotic.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
you could be lawful evil as long as you're following my laws.
Exactly. It's crazy.
You only one fucking chapter that's like, no, of course we're going to protect humanity. Why wouldn't we? And
Right.
it's the fucking scary salamander people.
Right. And at the very least, I can like yes, obviously Star Wars is cartoony when it comes to its morality in most media.
Mm,
Like one of the things that I hate the most about like for example, Bad Batch, which great
mhm.
show, is in these animated shows, the Empire, the First Order, whoever, they are always so cartoonishly evil. It's 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 always the thing of it's like, oh, Commander, what should we do about the clones that we're trying to basically like, decommission? And it's like, well, they're not real people, so just treat them like equipment. Use them until they break. And it's like, bruh, why? And it's like, I don't know.
That's one of those things that makes no sense to me. Like they could have at least like done the bare minimum, and then you would not have had any clones turn against you.
Yeah.
Like Captain Rex, one of the guys who was fundamental in like building the empire to where it is today.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh yeah, me and Cody, we used to write like basically procedures and codes for the empire."
right. And also, you fucking which one is it? Not Rogue One. That's the movie.
Andor.
And yeah, Andor.
Okay.
The fucking whatever planet they are on that has like the shooting star like meteor rainbow
Mhm.
thing. Why? Why are you so cartoonishly evil to this basically like like why are you so evil to these farmers? Like, hey, they come to this one specific spot to like basically pray to these like rocks like that fall from the sky. And they don't do it that often. And it's like, build a fortress right next to it, and then we're going to slowly kick them off of their holy land. Oh, and also we're basically going to treat them like the Native Americans and give them the worst deals possible. And it's like, why? Like,
The
if
Emperor's
there's
stupid.
there's a whole planet, you don't need to do that. And it's like, yeah, but
If
this would be funny.
if the Empire just treated most people okay,
Huh?
there would not be a rebellion.
Yep.
The
100%.
Sith would just see that's the folly of the Sith. It's why their empires never fucking last.
100%, because they legitimately hire evil people.
It's just
Or
like
or you could also argue that again, when the dark side is at its strongest, yeah, if you happen to work for the organization that's run by a Sith, who's to say that basically it's not that you're hiring evil people, it's that the dark side is ambiently corrupting them.
mhm.
Because yeah, I mean, every living thing is touched by the Force. So yeah, if you work for the space Nazis and the space Nazis tell you to like kick that homeless guy because he asked for credits, I assume you get dark side points.
Mm. Uh, this is my favorite thing in Star Wars when like stormtroopers or like high ranking people are just like, wait a minute, are we the baddies?
Yeah,
It's like,
Jesus
yes,
Christ.
of course. How
Yeah,
did it take you so long to realize this?
yeah. Again, talking about the new movies, Finn, I get him kind of. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, first off, he was stolen as a baby to be a stormtrooper, which why? Why would you do that? You can you can just you can just
True.
do a normal military. You don't have to do the baby brigade.
Yeah, they're doing the most inefficient way of basically like, okay, we have to basically redo the clones again. Get
Well,
babies.
yeah. Well, yeah, because they decided to be cartoonishly evil and blow up Camino.
Which, I mean, I get it a little bit. Camino definitely resisted.
Not in the new canon.
Yeah, they didn't, did they?
No, in the old canon, yes, they did. In the new canon, no. They were actually, I mean, I think there was something about basically like, oh yeah, we don't want other people to have access to the cloning technology. But the
Mm.
Kaminoans or however you
Conan,
pronounce, yeah,
Commune, the Komodo
they
people.
they were basically like, yeah, we'll keep making clones for you. And and basically the emperor was like, I like cloning. I want more cloning, but only I should have cloning.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow you guys up and then spend the next 50 years having my scientists figure out how to clone me a new body.
100%. And they talk about this in the Bad Batch where it's like, yeah, you blew up most of the Kaminoan, that's it,
Mm.
population. Like most Kaminoans, they're an endangered species. And it's like, well, that's fine because we have all their notes about cloning. And it's like, can you understand them? No. So what do you need? A Kaminoan scientist. And what did you blow up? Kaminoan scientists. And it's like, how are you this dumb? How did you not figure out that it might be a good idea to maybe figure out cloning before you kill the only people in the galaxy who know how to clone?
I know it's insane.
It's it boggles the mind, you
It,
know. And it's probably partly why Admiral Thrawn was
mhm.
so beloved because
It was smart.
yeah, the guy was evil. The guy was very evil, but he was at least smart about it. He was like, "Yes, I am going to break like your tribe, your city, whatever. But once I have you, like once we conquer you, like we're good. Like keep doing what you're doing. Like
Hmm.
just just follow the empire's doctrines."
Yep.
And it was like, yeah.
He was also like one of the only people in the Empire who's not fucking racist.
Yep. He respected every race for the unique things that it brought to the galaxy. Now,
Hmm.
mind you, he used that to figure out ways to better break you.
Hmm.
But at the very least, he was like, no, like, oh, you're a Twi'lek? Oh yeah, sure. Oh, you're a sharpshooter? Cool. Happy to have you.
Hmm.
Just point the gun down range, and we're all good.
Yep. As long as your guns are facing away from me, we're fine. We're
Oh,
fine.
you're a Mon Cal who isn't good at piloting ships, but is a demolitions expert? Cool.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Happy to
God,
have you.
and
Here's your bunk.
the Mon Calamari are another thing. They're so strong in the Star Wars universe. Like their empire, like they have their own on their world, and fucking like they've supplied so many ships and shit to the fucking rebellion. It is
They,
insane.
a single species,
Mhm.
by themselves, basically, was able to make a type of ship that could match Star Destroyers.
Yeah, the fucking Mon Calamari, what like super station or whatever the fuck they call it.
Hmm.
Oh my god.
I mean, why would you fuck with them? Why in God's name would you take the best shipwrights in the galaxy and try to fuck them over and make them an enemy? Why would you do that? Why why would you not, I don't know, recruit them, hire them?
I highly doubt that the Mon Calamari would give any shit about what was happening in the universe as long as the Empire was like, hey, we'll pay you to make ships for us. Because I mean, their people are fine.
Mind-boggling.
God damn. It's also just like, I mean, it worked out in their favor, I guess. Where
In
the
the
Empire
short
was,
run,
yeah, just like,
they lost. They
yeah,
fucking lost.
yeah, they did.
And mind you, they didn't even have a good run.
Mm,
Like, okay, I know. In the new canon, yes, the fucking New Republic falls like almost immediately,
what,
timeline
40
wise.
years after? Like,
Right.
not even?
But mind you, the Empire fell in 20-25 years. Your empire didn't even last for a whole generation.
hmm
Or however old Luke was at fucking episode. Yeah. How old was fucking Luke Skywalker when he goddamn dismantled the entire empire?
18, that's my guess.
Let's see.
Because he doesn't seem old to me. Because I feel
Let's
like he was being
see.
like, I think he was feeling like he was just old enough to become a stormtrooper. I think was like the thing, was like his plan so he could get off Tatooine.
Let's see. How old was he in episode 6? 23. He was
23.
23.
Yeah, it's not
The
old at all.
the empire lasted for 23 years. Because he was born 2 days after Empire Day.
God damn.
Yep.
See, it's because the Empire is fucking stupid. It, they try to genocide people, but they don't genocide the right people. The Mon Calamari, if you weren't gonna make them your friends, that's the people you should have genocided. They
Right.
tried to genocide what? The Wookiees didn't work.
No. They didn't try to genocide them. They decided that the best thing they could do to
Mm.
the 7-8 foot tall, pure muscle, like primal fighters was to use them as slave labor.
Ah, yes. Oh no, I'm thinking of the Lasats. That's who they tried to fucking genocide.
Right. Hold on. Can we talk about that real quick? They live in a society where almost everything could be done by droids. Everything.
Mm.
Mining, constructing. And for some reason, the Empire was like, you know what's a good idea? Let's make all the heavy labor be done by hyper aggressive, giant, like Bigfoots.
hmm
This won't backfire at all.
And Wookiees ain't no joke, man. They can take a beating and dish it out like it's nobody's business.
To quote KOTOR 1, I once saw the Wookiee character in that rip a guy's arms off and then beat him to death with them. Don't fuck with Wookiees? But the
Mm.
Empire didn't get that memo, I guess, as they tried to burn Kashyyyk to the ground. For the Transdoshans.
Who gives a shit about the Transdoshans?
Transdoshans are garbage. They're just evil.
hmm Yeah,
At
I
least
understand.
evil leaning.
They did better when they basically when they burned Lasat to the Lasat's planet to the ground, because they were also warrior culture very strong. They did a good job there, and then they did the
Yep.
same to the Mandalorians, but it didn't really work. They glassed the planet, and now there are just Mandalorian bounty hunters everywhere.
Yeah. Except they didn't do a good job destroying the Lasats. Because as we found out in Rebels,
Yeah,
they're
they're
just
just
in wild space. There's millions of them still.
yeah, they're just fine.
Which means if the Lasat ever decide to, come back and like take revenge, it's entirely your fault and could have been avoided easily.
hmm
Like the Empire is so fucking dumb. It's like I get it, okay? And if you want to go by like again the extended universe, which isn't canon anymore, or the legends or whatever the fuck it's
hmm
called nowadays, yeah,
Yeah,
legends.
Legends.
Oh, well, Emperor Palpatine did everything because he saw that the Vox,
Yuzan.
yeah, the
Yuzan
Yuuzhan
Vong.
Vong were coming, and it's like cool. Why would he? If his entire goal was to have a united galaxy, why would he do it as evilly as possible?
Why would he create the Separatists to divide the galaxy instead
Right.
of strengthening the Republic?
Right.
Because I feel like no matter how strong you made the Empire, 20,000 Jedi is definitely going to help.
Oh no, because remember the Yuuzhan Vog, they were invisible to the Force, and it's like, who cares?
Being invisible to the Force doesn't mean I can't fucking use the Force to throw a metal spike through you.
Which is exactly what the Jedi figured out. It's like, I can't use the Force on him, and it's like, okay, picks up spear, throws it through his chest, and it's like that still works.
Yep. It's like, goddamn, son.
Yeah, and then legitimately in the wiki, it's like the Jedi just figured out that like, okay, I mean, I can just do things to you like secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can still use force push essentially, but you could just do it in two directions, and then you're basically crushing them. And it's like, yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. I can't push you directly. I'll push the air in front of you.
Yep. Like,
I get it, but like if my thing was okay, I need to make the strongest. If I need to defend the universe or whatever his thing is to make sure his galaxy's not destroyed, go take over Mandalore.
yeah.
Just make the strongest non-Jedi army you can.
No, because we have to literally bomb it with photon bombs, which glass the fucking planet so that no civilization can ever live there again.
It's so dumb.
Why? Why did they do this? You know, actually, here, let's Google that, shall we? The Siege of Mandalore.
Have you watched all of The Mandalorian, the new
Not yet.
season yet?
Not
Then
yet.
don't Google anything about Mandalore because you're gonna get
I just want to.
spoilers.
I just want to know the Siege of Mandalore. That's it.
You might still get spoilers because it might be like, but then this thing or this thing that has been revealed from The Mandalorian.
I'm trying to basically like the what was it? It would be like the raising of Mandalore. Yeah, maybe
Just type in the glassing of
the
Mandalore.
the Great Purge of Mandalore. Great
Mm.
name, by the way. Let's see. Oh, here it is. In attempt to punish the Mandalorians and wipe out their memory.
Didn't work.
It was basically just to collect Beskar.
That thing that they really can't use without Mandalorians.
Hmm?
Almost like cloning. Let's kill the people that know how to use this thing.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, it's basically because it's like, oh, we can't control Mandalore. And, quote, wanting to make sure that no other faction could, they legitimately just carpet bombed all of Mandalore.
And I mean, I
Fusion
understand.
bombs. Fusion bombs. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Which
within
are, in
reason.
fact, a type of nuclear weapon.
Within reason, I understand glassing Mandalore. It's like, okay, these people can make indestructible armor, and they're really tough. But like, you didn't even succeed. They're still alive in the galaxy.
Yeah, but they're separated. I Look, I get it. The whole point about the dark side of the Force is that it actively makes you make
It
not the
clouds your
smartest
mind.
decision, the most evil decision. And one of the unique things about Palpatine is that he actually could have essentially get around that. Like, he could hold back his evil, like, I have to burn everyone urges to, like, make the smart long play.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a thing that Palpatine basically wasn't considered a Sith because he didn't do anything Sith-like.
Yeah,
Because the
it took
Sith,
him a long time to do shit.
yeah, where a normal Sith would have basically gone to like the Outer Rim and basically done the Separatist thing and legitimately tried to conquer the galaxy. Palpatine was like, no, what I'll do is I will make the Separatist basically to fight the Republic, but then I'll make clones for the Republic. And my end game is that the clones will be used to kill the Jedi. And any Sith would be like, bruh, just attack them. Like, let's fucking go. And basically, the whole thing is it's not necessarily that Palpatine was cartoonishly evil. Again, I legitimately think that he was evil, so everybody around him became infected, and they can't resist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what should I do today? Should I make some toast or should I kick this dog? Kicking
Both.
the dog does sound good. Yeah, both sound good.
I can eat toast while kicking dogs.
And it's like, yeah,
You can tell they're dumb. Like Vader's dumb. Ah, the advisors here are giving basically good advice. I'm gonna force choke him until he shuts up.
he made fun of my religion, which I helped to make into like myth and also destroy. Fuck him.
Mm-hmm. And like the fucking admirals and shit of the Empire have every right to be like, who the fuck cares, Vader? You're the Emperor's lapdog.
Yeah.
We actually manage the Empire. You don't do anything.
Yep.
Which, yeah, at best, Vader is a special operative, like a spec op guy.
That's
He
all
just kills specific people.
it is not at all incorrect to say that Vader is just an attack dog. That's all
Mm-hmm.
he is. In
Shit.
fact, I just recently read like a comic where so fun fact for why aren't the Inquisitors stationed on Coruscant? Do you know the answer, Dan?
No, but I would like to know the answer to that.
Yeah, sure. So basically, what happened was the Inquisitors, two of them specifically,
Mm-hmm.
um, they basically developed feelings for each other
Mm-hmm.
in the course of like doing it, which, mind you, is not against the rules for the Sith.
Yeah, you can fuck whoever you want.
But for some reason, Darth Vader was, not for some reason, he was basically jealous. And so he attacked them. And because they're Force users, not as strong as Vader, they ran away, basically destroyed a large part of Coruscant, like at least damaged it, trying to escape him, still died. And Palpatine was basically like, yes, can't have that. Nope, can't do it. Cannot. And he
Mm-hmm.
sent them to another planet. Which, fun fact, he also did because one of the people who was killed in like the ensuing chase
Mm-hmm.
was a senator that Palpatine was going to use to increase his power. But he basically got like hit by an exploding fucking speeder.
That's
And
hilarious.
Palpatine was like, Vader, I swear to fucking God.
I love fucking robot chicken emperor.
Right.
Vader, my guy. Come on, man.
Right. Because again, it's like Vader acts entirely. I mean, again, Anakin Skywalker, whoever you really want to. Vader. It is Vader. He he doesn't he doesn't even really fight the dark side. He gives into it. He embraces it. Those those little voices that are like, "Hey, do the most evil thing possible." He gives into that. Mostly because he can't face what he did,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, and that's the difference. It's like Palpatine is not a Sith because a Sith is as cartoonishly evil as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine is like, no, I'm gonna play the long game. I'm gonna start in the mailroom and I'm gonna work my way up to Emperor of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, basically
And
what he did.
yeah, and then at that point it was like, fuck. Every one of my top advisors is like a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine the reports he gets, which is like, Emperor Palpatine, we successfully raised the planet. And it's like, why did you do that? It's like, well, they were resisting. And it's like, we can't use a planet if it's made of glass.
Mm-hmm. You,
You know what? That really makes sense why the Empire is so shitty. There's a comic that I read that like shortly after the Empire is formed and everything, there's a big coup and like half the military that like turns against them because these are like former like Republic generals and shit,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're like, "Fuck no!" And they almost kill the Emperor. He gets like shot and like fucking poisoned, and he's like sequestered away, and Vader has to like fight through these people and like heal the Emperor. And he almost doesn't. He's almost not able to do it, and it's so funny. Can you guess how Vader ends up like winning in the end? Because I bet you can't.
I mean, knowing how ridiculous they can be, probably like he throws like a children's hospital at them or blows it up.
I mean, I no, but close. I get. I mean, close-ish. I mean, people die. No, he goes to a secret Jedi prison and has them all fight to the death, and then takes the strongest one with him to go take back the Empire.
Incredible.
Yep, and then he kills her in the end, you know,
Of course.
because
Of
he wasn't gonna let her be free.
Of course. Why would you keep a skilled trained fighter that you have clearly already corrupted? Why would you do that? Oh
Mhm.
right. The rule of two.
Also, he basically has a best friend at this time.
Oh,
There's
yep,
like this
yep.
one like Empire lieutenant guy that's like his best friend, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Vader's just like, no, we're not friends. Clearly not friends, even though they're definitely friends.
Yeah, doesn't I could be wrong. Doesn't Vader end up killing him?
I don't remember if he. Yeah, I think he kill. I think the Emperor makes him kill him.
Let's see. Here, Darth Vader's best friend. Let's Google that.
So I know the guy like does die.
His name was Irv Lakauf.
Sure. About as much as I remember. I know he dies.
It doesn't even say how he died. How the fuck does he die? Wait. Was he a Force user?
That could definitely be why he's dead.
Maybe. I don't. No. No? Oh, Vader had him cloned.
Oh, is that
Yes.
the dark side clones that he has?
Maybe. Is this Legends? This might be Legends.
It's probably all Legends now. I doubt anything exists anymore.
No, let's see. Jesus Christ.
What makes you loyal to Lord Vader? With your permission, sir, it's because my lord never asks his men to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Okay.
I don't even know if I don't think this might not be the right guy. Was it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, regardless, legitimately, regardless, it is a thing where, yes, Darth Vader had a friend. Basically, anyway,
It's
yes,
weird.
it clearly shows that no matter what, the dark side, again, I know you and I have talked about this. The problem with the dark side, when you want to look at it from a power perspective, is that the dark side it's really powerful early game because it is access to basically max power almost instantly. That's the thing. But the problem is that the light side is always stronger. Long game. The light side always has a bigger cap, a bigger ceiling, and it always wins.
Yeah.
And it even always wins because almost every Sith Lord that has ever existed that was a former Jedi is usually at least partly redeemed before they die.
Mm-hmm.
Because again,
Oh, they always turn back and become a huge reason why the good guys win.
Right, because at the end of the day, the dark side has to fight constantly to keep people under its sway. They have to keep killing. They have to keep committing atrocities.
Especially when you
Basically,
got idiots like fucking Kylo Ren, who is just like the light side, just like come back,
yeah,
just come back. I'm
like
actively pulling you to the light side. You know the thing the
right,
dark side does.
right. Like you could just have a good life. Like you could like love your parents. You could just get Rey. Like you don't have to die if you're a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I definitely gotta stab Han Solo. Gotta do it. Can't do anything except stab him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dark side will always lose because it's temporary, it's fleeting, it's like strong emotions, which again,
Even
that's
when
the
you
whole
get
thing about the Jedi. The Jedi are not telling you that you can't have emotions. That's part of the reason why they fell is because yes, they had basically evolved into the worst version of themselves.
mm-hmm.
But the point of it is a Jedi should not allow their emotions to influence them. You can love. You can have like it's factually impossible to not love someone as a Jedi. You have
Mm-hmm.
to. Why else would you throw yourself in front of blaster bolts for strangers?
Yep. Why would you give a shit if your Padawan lives or dies?
Right. It's impossible. But the point is not like, oh yeah, sorry, if your Padawan is in danger, like you have to leave them. No. Every time when a Jedi has basically turned around and endangered the whole mission to save, Ahsoka.
You mean Anakin and Obi-Wan a billion times?
Yes. But like that's my point is that the thing is you just can't let it dictate everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Jedi gets angry, but you can't let your anger control you.
God, like
That's
the Jedi
uh,
don't even the Jedi don't follow their own rules so much, and they also just don't care sometimes either. It's like the Jedi aren't supposed to kill people like for no reason, or without being like attacked first or whatever. Like there's a whole scene in the Clone Wars where like this one guy's like, I'm gonna blow up the ship, and Obi-Wan's like, I'll stop you, and he's like, you won't do it. Jedi don't kill like unarmed people, and Obi-Wan's like, yeah, you're right, and then Anakin just fucking shoves a lightsaber through the guy's chest, and
mhm.
he's like, what? He was gonna blow up the ship,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
no one ever does anything about that.
I mean, yes, that's also the problem with Obi-Wan. But
Yeah.
like the thing is that yes, the Jedi at the end of the day are actually the good guys. It's just like any other organization, they lost their way.
There's a reason why Yoda burns the books. Stop
Right.
following the old ways, my man.
Right. I mean, hell, even Yoda. Yes, Yoda he essentially lost the plot of what being a Jedi is about.
Hmm?
And it happens, like it does.
I mean, Emperor Palpatine says it himself. Yoda's just so old
Mhm.
that like he just doesn't see the corruption anymore because it's so slow moving.
Yeah. And again, again the boiling the frog analogy. You if you want to kill a frog in a boiling pot of water, slowly increase the temperature. The frog will just sit there and cook. Like, yeah, and again, you can tell that the Jedi fell because the Jedi are not it's not an army. It is not a reserve specialist unit that the Republic gets to call on. The Jedi should be peacekeepers. They should be looking for diplomatic solutions. And the lightsabers should be the last resort.
Mm-hmm. They're an
And of
elegant
course,
weapon.
somewhere along the way that stopped happening, and suddenly Jedi were generals in armies.
Yeah, which is a problem. Shouldn't have
It's
been
a
that way.
yeah, it's a bad thing.
The Jedi should have just been like, "Hey, we're not gonna join your war, but like, if the enemy attacks the planet that we are on, we'll help out."
Right. If there is, I mean, again, the Jedi were used, they even talk about it in the Clone Wars TV show. There was one race that specifically had a slave trading empire,
Yeah, I remember those
and the
people.
and the Jedi came in and were like, "Stop!" And they were like, "Why?" And it's like lightsaber, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
we're done."
I remember the Clone Wars has a couple episodes about that, and Anakin's there.
Which,
He don't like slavery.
yeah, maybe that was a bad idea. You could have sent Mace Windu. I mean,
Mhm.
okay, maybe not with Mace Windu.
He
That's a
also
bad.
would have killed them.
You should have sent
They
Kit
sent
Fisto.
Obi-Wan.
Kit Fisto.
Uh, I thought I remember watching that because I'm like, oh, this is so metal because like they use like their like laser whip things to like stun and resist, like make the like slaves like obedient and shit. And like I think one or two of them like takes down Obi-Wan, and like Anakin gets hit with like 8 or 9 of these fuckers and just keeps going.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't like slaves.
Yeah, I mean, it's again at the end. The Jedi are the good guys, right? Like, unfortunately, if you view it as an unfortunate situation, Star Wars morality is rarely gray. It is black and white. Like, there is good and there is evil. You you can fall in the gray. Most people do. But at the end of the day, most, if not all, of the largest conflicts in the widespan history of the galaxy is about the obvious good guys want to beat the obvious bad guys.
Mhm.
It's it's never a thing where the bad guy is legitimately like, well, you see, I took down the Republic and I unified the whole galaxy under my iron rule so that we could fight against, the Yuuzhan Vong. It's like, well, I did take down the Republic, but then I kind of fragmented it. I let a lot of genocides happen. Um, technological advancements really slowed down under my rule.
Oops.
I did build the Death Star. It did blow up though, so I built a second one, and then it blew up again.
My bad, guys.
It's
My bad.
yeah, it's like no, I he built a thing called the Death Star. That by the way, by the fucking way, that's not like a colloquial like name. That's not something the rebels made up.
It's
He
just
called it the Death Star.
yeah, definitely just call it a space station and
He
not the Death Star.
he might as well have called it the genocide engine.
Mhm. And I do love it. It's like it is another thing of like the Empire is more than the Sith because they're just making huge fucking uh death just planet destroying weapons. I did like that because it's just like it shows how inconsequential like the Emperor and fucking
Darth
Vader
Vader.
really are.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, go back to Coruscant. There's a coup. They take the Death Star, blow up Coruscant. Bye. Uh, that's fine. It definitely became super useless when Palpatine just had a whole fucking fleet of Star Destroyers with Death Star lasers.
Yeah, we don't talk about that movie. Here's the thing. I really enjoyed episode 7.
Mm.
I actually was one of the people that enjoyed episode 8. Episode 9 was bad.
I liked
It's
I liked 7. 8 was all right. Hated 9.
I We've probably talked about this on the podcast before, maybe not.
I I don't know. We don't talk about Star Wars as much as we used to because there's like no movies anymore.
That's fair. There's a lot of TV shows which we probably should talk about, but
Yeah, we're at different points. I've never seen Andor, and you're not caught up on The
you should
Mandalorian.
you should see Andor. It's legitimately one of the best. Like
Oh,
it's up there with The Mandalorian.
oh, I've heard it's one of the best and like more realistic Star Wars things. Just
Yes, it
I
is.
just have not got around to it yet.
Again, I am not a fan of the recent trend of making the Empire cartoonishly evil, which Andor still does. Um, but amazingly good show, like incredibly good. But yeah, like it's just the plot of your penultimate end to your trilogy should not start with and somehow Palpatine returned. That's a bad start. What do you mean somehow? What what the fuck do you mean somehow?
Yeah. It,
What
mm,
what happened to Snoke? Oh, he's like a failed Palpatine clone. What?
I loved all the theories of like who is Snoke, where'd Snoke come from, and then it's just a shit fucking version of Palpatine. And he's
Right.
so shit too. He's like not even good. He's not even a
No,
good Sith.
he does nothing. He does less than Palpatine in the original trilogy, which is saying something.
Like he's not even strong like to me at all. He only has one trick up his sleeve, and it's fucking with Kylo Ren and Rey.
Pretty much. And again, I was 100% on board with Snoke is killed and Kylo Ren is the final bad guy.
Mm,
You're again, I know that this is heretical in today's day and age, but you can subvert expectations in a good way. Kylo Ren does not need to be redeemed. He can just be the bad guy. You Not every person needs to have the Darth Vader redemption at the end. Or
mm.
sure, you can have the Darth Vader redemption at the end, but that doesn't mean he wasn't the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with evil Skywalkers. I think they make for very good stories.
Right. But instead, and again, I actually like Fortnite. I hate to say it, but I actually like it. It's a fun battle
Mm.
royale. Why? Why? Dear God, why? Who thought that it was a good idea to do the most important piece of marketing for your new, again, trilogy ender exclusively in Fortnite? For those of you who don't know, the reveal that Palpatine was alive was not shown in a commercial. It wasn't shown in an ad. It wasn't shown in a trailer. It was an event in Fortnite. And that was the only place that it happened. They revealed that Palpatine was the bad guy in Fortnite. Uh,
Bad.
there are no words to describe how dumb of a decision that is.
Darth Sidious speaks in Fortnite. Yeah, it's really easy to find.
Yes, it's.
Yeah,
But the problem is
I love it. The Rise of Skywalker explains missing plot point. Dot 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 in Fortnite.
yes, which mind you, most people hadn't seen.
Yeah, I didn't
I
know this existed until after I watched all three movies.
Yep, no clue. I went into it and I was like, what do you mean Palpatine's back? And it's like, Palpatine sent a message to the galaxy. And in the theater, I was like, sure. There's a lot of stuff that happens in between each movie. It's usually a couple years. Sure. They'll they'll show that to me, right? Right? They didn't talk about it, didn't show it. You you had to go on YouTube and Google Fortnite, Palpatine. Which,
Mhm.
again, why would you do that? But whatever. It's, hey, what do I know? And other than that, the movie was just, it had good moments. It did. But it was just bad. It was a bad, poorly written movie. A lot of plot holes, a lot of Deus Ex Machinas. Why was there a dagger that pointed to the place in the Death Star where
Yeah,
you
that
needed to go?
that was so dumb.
Who made that?
Just some crazy Sith cultist, apparently, for no reason.
Yeah, but it was an ancient Sith artifact.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all. It did like nothing.
No, it legitimately just showed that they needed to go to the crashed second Death Star. And that's it.
I feel like a Force vision would have just done that, and then we wouldn't have had to worry about it.
No, they
The bl-
they had to wipe C-3PO's memory for some reason.
Which you definitely didn't. Just get another protocol droid.
No, there's only one in the entire galaxy. Only one.
Like they're fucking everywhere. Go talk to any hut. They have a protocol droid.
No, I can't do that. Can't do it. Can't do it. Somehow the one that Anakin programmed as a 12-year-old or an 8-year-old, whatever the fuck he was, he somehow knew the Sith language.
Hmm.
And yeah, Kylo Ren randomly decides that he wants to be a good guy again.
And so, hmm. I knew he was going to become a good guy again because
Of course, of course.
stupid writing.
The the moment that Palpatine was back, there was no room for Kylo Ren to be the bad guy.
Yep. I didn't think he was gonna die.
No, that was weird. I don't the kiss thing was weird.
The
It was just
romance.
weird. No. Legitimately, I would have been fine with the romance. I really would have.
I would have
But
liked it if he survived.
yeah, isn't Rey's like, well, like whatever, it doesn't matter. Like all the Skywalkers are dead. No more Skywalkers. Fuck the Skywalkers
Mhm.
apparently. They've never done anything good for the galaxy. It's like, okay.
Mhm. Yep, they've never saved it, not even once.
Nope, not even a little bit. The scene where all the Jedi are talking,
Mm.
like to Rey, that was cool. I like that. Nice. The moment where Palpatine shot lightning up into the sky and somehow disabled every rebel ship.
Dumb.
Yeah, that was bad. That's
First off,
leg-
he is Emperor Palpatine, not the Emperor. He should not be doing shit like this.
yeah. Also, he's a clone.
Yeah, that
He's
too.
he's also a decaying clone. So he
That's my
should be worse.
yeah, because like the normal Emperor definitely couldn't do that.
Yeah, no. No. Also, this was also a thing that I think I because we saw the movie together. I think I talked to you about this. So the whole thing was that Palpatine was basically he was like the will of the dark side because
Mhm.
he had like all the dark side like I don't know sports fans in the stadiums. And I think I even talked to you. I was like, wait, Ray killed him.
Yeah.
Does doesn't that mean that she effectively killed the dark side of the Force?
But see, my thing is that was his plan though, to have
It
her kill him so he could take over her body, but it didn't work
yes, because
because Force lightning.
yeah, he killed himself, right? Is that
Yeah, she deflected lightning back at him,
yeah.
but she still killed him.
Well, no, but well, yes, but no, but yes, but no. It
I always
it was
thought that was dumb.
it was assisted suicide. He was old, like he was in pain. Like,
And
yeah.
like it
Also,
has to mean nothing that she killed him. And like it's just, oh, okay, he can't pass on now because he definitely uh uh like it can't be the end of the dark side because then the force doesn't exist because it
of
has
course.
to be in balance.
Yeah, I mean, but the point that he made was I am infused with the dark side, like, which I guess was the explanation for like his crazy lightning. But
Mhm.
it, I, my equate to it was like the Avatar state.
Mhm.
If you kill the Avatar in the Avatar state,
It's gone
you
forever.
right. That's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, did she just kill the dark, like basically the evil Avatar?
I think what happened here is the equivalent of what happened to like Korra. The Avatar chain has been reset in the sense that like when there's another Sith, there's no more talking to old Sith or learning from the old Sith. You're just kind of on your own.
Okay.
Relearn how to be like Korra, like learn all that Avatar shit on your own. There's no talking to past yous anymore.
I mean, sure, but like, what about like a Junta Paul who was famously like just a crazy ghost on Korriban?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Also, also, how how is it that you somehow, when you weren't the dominant part of the galaxy, how did you make hundreds or thousands of Star Destroyers with Death Star cannons?
And nobody noticed because you need a lot of crystals for those cannons.
You need extremely rare Kyber crystals. Do you know how many Kyber crystals it took to make the Death Star?
A lot.
A lot. I
Uh,
it's again, episode 9, legitimately a bad movie. You can I understand that episode 8 is divisive. I get it. Because it's basically not a Star Wars movie. It has almost none of the familiar tropes.
mm,
I get it. I enjoyed it because of that. I enjoyed it because it was a new Star Wars experience that I wouldn't normally get. I I legitimately liked the fact that he was like, "No, you're nobody. You're not special. You're not the child of Obi-Wan and fucking, Satine.
yeah, it was
You're
nice when she wasn't special.
yeah, you're not another Force Jesus Christ. You're a random girl whose parents abandoned her and you happen to have the Force. Like, good job. That's it. That's it. It it was literally, ironically, it was the chosen one as the bad guy
Mm-hmm.
versus the nobody.
Which I was fine with.
Right. And that was fun. That was interesting. That was the idea that yes, you don't have to be a Skywalker. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to be motherfucking Revan's child to be
Mm-hmm.
important. The Force, it made the Force feel mystic again, where it's like anybody could be a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could be chosen.
Yep. But no,
And then it's like, yeah, no, you're Palpatine's kid.
honestly, that is the worst reveal to me that she was
Oh,
Palpatine's kid. I would have been
terrible.
like, oh, she's Luke's kid? Oh, that's cool. I would have at least been fine with that.
Yeah.
Or she's an Obi-Wan and Satine's kid. Because that makes sense. It's like, okay, Mandalore was falling, Obi-Wan had to flee, some shit happened, I don't know, and they had to get rid of you
Right. Or
more
again,
than
like it doesn't have to be kid. It could be grandkid.
yeah, anything.
And it's like,
Anything but the Emperor.
right, which mind you, it doesn't even make sense even then, because it's like, so you had a son, yeah. Why didn't you take his body? He, you know, he just wasn't right. You know, I
Why
didn't like
didn't
him.
you train your son?
He was, you know, he like fell in love
See,
and
that's like how you know, like, again, that the Emperor is not fully a Sith, because he had a kid. His kid got married and had a kid, and like he let all this happen, and not until the end he's like, "Ah, fuck, I need that kid."
yep, he legitimately didn't even know Ray existed.
Yep.
And it's like, you're kind of bad at this.
So
And
funny.
again, like, hey, whatever.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of the other dumb things that happen in the movie, but I
Oh.
mean, Finn was wasted. Finn was
Oh
just
yeah. John
wasted.
Boyega is mad about that.
Oh, he should be. Mind you, I here's the thing, right? Quite frankly, I don't care which of them it was at the end, right?
Mm.
Whether it was a black former stormtrooper who's a Jedi,
Which
or
mm,
a nobody girl, like no matter what, you're hitting a certain demographic. I get
they
it.
both could have been Jedi. I would have been fine with
Both could
that.
have. Yep. It
They
again could have been a fun thing where Kylo Ren's the final bad guy and he has actual training and he's chosen by the Force. And it's
hmm
like, yeah, the other two, they're fucking jobbers.
hmm they did him so dirty with the marketing too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
And his whole thing was what in episode 8
Mm.
or what yeah, episode 8 I think. He was going to kill himself?
Oh yeah, episode 7 or 8. Yeah, he was gonna like they were like basically powering up like a Death Star laser on the planet to like blow up their big shield thing
It
protecting their
what
base, and he was
yeah, it
gonna
wasn't even a
run into
shield.
it.
It was a door.
Yeah, door, and he was gonna run into it to stop it. But then the fucking girl that's like his love interest out of nowhere crashes into him to stop it.
Which good? Like that would have been such a lame way to go. It's like, bruh,
But I thought that was so dumb. Cause I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna stop the laser now?
if I remember correctly, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, and then Luke showed up, and it was like one of the coolest moments in Star Wars, where it's just like,
Mm,
nah, bro, I ain't even here.
yeah, that was really cool. I did enjoy that.
I mean, again, the sequel trilogy overall not great,
Mm.
mostly because of the bad ending. They they also did Luke Skywalker dirty. They did him very dirty. I'll give him that. Like, yeah, like anyway. Um, but at the end of the day, again, it's just a thing where you don't have to reinvent the wheel to make a good Star Wars story.
You don't. You really don't.
It's kind of like with Marvel. It's like, okay, I get what's happening, but like stop trying to just recapture the old magic. Like whatever it was, phase 3 is gone. Like we're done. Like
Mm-hmm.
now, yeah, like introduce some new stuff. Like I liked uh Doctor Strange Multiverse
Multiverses
of
of.
Madness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember if it was Monsters of Madness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Multiverse of Madness. Because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a horror Marvel movie. That's a cool idea. Like stop doing the formula. You can stop doing the formula now. You won.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Even
creative.
even your movies that people quote unquote don't like make enough money.
Yeah,
So just do you.
right. Be be creative. Make movies that are good movies and happen to have superheroes.
Mhm. There are enough people like us who like Marvel who will just go see your movies.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely don't give a shit about the critics, because
Rightfully on my
as good movies have shown lately, Oh, a 40% critic score and a 95% audience rating. Critics don't fucking matter anymore.
Right. Now, mind you, I still haven't seen the new Ant-Man movie because I hear it's disappointing.
Yeah, I'm I'm just kind of waiting to see what's up with that guy
Yeah,
before I see it.
that's another thing.
I don't remember his name, so I can't.
Good. Fuck him.
Yeah, but that guy, he might or may not be an abuser, and I don't want to support it if he is.
Correct. Which, by the way, for those of you who are either going to yell at us, again, nobody watches this, but who's going to either yell at us or agree with us, at the end of the day, those allegations should be taken seriously. You should not wish for death threats to that person until they are proven guilty. Don't
Mhm.
don't consume their products. Like in the
Ye-
meantime, don't don't buy records. Don't go see movies that they're in. But you also don't need to write them off as a human being and say you
mhm.
knew it all along. Great example. What was it? Justin Roiland, right?
Mhm.
Now, mind you, we still don't have all the facts, and I believe there is still uh, current litigation being done.
Yes.
However, the charges were dropped against him because there was a lack of evidence. Which, hey, that technically doesn't mean he didn't do it,
Yep.
but legally, it means that they couldn't prove that he did.
Mhm.
And I mean, honest to God, that means he's innocent. You are innocent until proven guilty. And everybody did him very dirty.
Mm.
Because again, if it turns out he is innocent, like, I mean, people basically just
Fucked
were
him for
like,
nothing.
yeah, like he's gone from Rick and Morty. Like, every part of his like career
Like
has been tainted forever.
I understand what the companies did to a point because you have to separate yourself.
Right.
But you could also just be like, until these charges are like the litigation is done in court, we are suspending going forward on any of his projects.
Right.
We're not firing him. We're not canceling all his shit.
Right. Just And that's basically how I view it. Another great example, and this one actually is very relevant because of the outcome. Pro Jared.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Jared legitimately went from having just gotten his millionth subscriber, huge milestone for a YouTube content
Yeah.
creator, and basically the allegations of, I mean, grooming, pedophilia,
Mm-hmm.
like, cheating on his wife, which,
I
I
just
mean,
don't care about. I'm gonna be
also
honest.
also some other factors as well.
The whole cheating thing. I never cared about. It's two people I do not know.
Exactly. Um, yeah, and I mean, oh my God, his subreddit turned into that. I mean, what should be a joke meme, which is like, hey, everybody start searching like Jared and clown so that this image shows up. And it's like, what what are those people doing? You were wrong. You you tried to basically kangaroo court this man out of his livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Did you apologize? Did you Are you resubscribed? Are you still watching his content? It weren't you the people who said like he should like go to jail forever, and or some people were like he should kill himself? How's that working out for you? How well is it working out that instead of waiting to see if there was any substantial evidence, or
I
if a court would find him guilty, how did that go that you just jumped on the bandwagon and said he's evil and that you'll never watch his
mm,
content again?
it, Oh my god, I reserved judgment for maybe a little bit too long, not on him, but on Gus Johnson, because I loved the Gus and Eddie podcast. I enjoyed him and Eddie Burbeck's content, and I'm like, I don't know if any of these allegations are true. I've had no confirmation from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eddie Burbeck's like, it's all true, and I'm like, fuck. And then I unsubscribed from all of Gus Johnson's shit. He's making content again, and objectively, the guy is funny, and I enjoyed his content, but I don't watch any of it anymore.
Right, and here's the thing: when the allegations against Jared were happening, I unsubscribed, yes, because again, it's not me saying, "Oh, you're evil," and I am confirming this, and I'll never watch you again. It was, and I said this to you guys at the time. I'm not going to watch him until it's either proven or
Mhm.
disproven.
Yeah. The only thing I had a problem with was the grooming stuff,
Yep.
because I'm like, I don't care if he's fucking his fans or cheating on his wife.
Which, fun fact, they were in an open relationship.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, I don't care whether or not he was cheating or not. People cheat. I don't personally know you, so I don't really care. And if you're fucking your fans, are they adults? Okay, cool. Then they can do whatever they want.
Right. Well, mind you, like, obviously I do care in the fact of, like, you know, you purposely hurt someone that you're supposed to love.
Oh yeah, I might not respect you anymore,
Mhm.
but like,
Great example that I just thought of. Nick Fulmer, or is it Nick?
I
No,
don't know.
Ned Fulmer
Okay.
from the Try Guys, who are now literally the TRI guys. Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
I got
Again,
no respect for that man.
100%. What I appreciate the most about this is that there was nothing, no news, no tabloid articles. It was entirely private
Mm.
until everything had facts, everything had backing.
Oh yeah.
And at that point, it was like, okay, I don't even have to think about this. Like, yes, you have the facts, you have the information that Ned Fulmer did this, and Ned Fulmer himself confessed.
hmm Yeah,
So
I
so
was
yeah,
a lot more mad in that situation for two reasons. He has kids,
yes.
which don't do shit when you have kids. Your kids are the first and only priority. And he made his whole image around, I love my wife. My
Yep.
wife.
Yep. And as it
Like,
turns out, the people who do that are the shitty people.
mhm. And I mean, does this mean this man's whole career just like deserves to be destroyed? Not necessarily. He
No,
cheated on his wife. He didn't kill somebody. Like,
right.
it's
And
whatever.
he did it with
The,
another consenting
the,
adult.
the only fucked part is he was her boss.
True. Yes, that's
Which,
not
even
great.
though there may not have been any power dynamic between them, he put the company that him and his friends made in very big jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. You fucked your friends over. He easily could have just been like, hey guys, I'm having an affair with this woman. I'm going to need you to take her out of my chain of command so we're not legally liable.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, that's all you had to do.
But I mean, again, you're right. He does not deserve to have the rest of his life destroyed because of this.
Mm-hmm.
He did a very overall minor offense.
Yeah,
I will personally never watch his content again, but that's a personal choice.
oh yeah, it's there's a difference between being like, I don't like you now, but it's what was it? Tupac said it best. we may not be friends anymore, but it doesn't mean I don't want to see you eat. I just don't want you to eat at my table.
Yeah, see, there you go. Turns out Tupac know what it is. Oh,
Ah,
Adam Kovic
mhm.
from Funhouse.
Yep. I didn't. I still don't fully know what happened there because I just never watch Funhouse. But wasn't he
So
just like masturbating at work or something?
yeah, basically.
Okay.
There were some also allegations that he was like sending things to fans,
Hmm.
which again, as long as they are consenting adults.
Hmm.
But yes, so basically what ended up happening and why he got so much blowback was because this was also at the same time as that other actual scumbag who was doing
Oh
was
yeah.
doing
Oh,
things.
Ryan something or something.
Whoever it was, I legitimately don't want to remember his name.
Yeah, I remember him because
Yes,
I
he
actually enjoyed his content before this.
yeah, he actually engaging in grooming and some
Hmm.
pedophilic,
16 or 17-year-old girl or something.
yes, multiple actually.
Yep.
And yes, what Adam was doing was wrong. He was at his company office masturbating in the bathroom and potentially sending,
I mean,
um,
honestly, I don't see anything wrong with masturbating in a locked bathroom at your job.
it is weird.
No, I'm not saying it's not weird, but like, I don't see anything wrong per se with that.
That's fair. I think it's wrong because there is a certain social
Yeah, no,
contract that you
it's
kind of
definitely
broke,
it's definitely weird.
and it's gross.
Yeah, but I
Again,
mean,
you should be able to go to your company's bathroom and not have to worry if the walls are going to be covered in jizz.
man, I'm definitely I'm not worried about that. I'm just like, man, everything's covered in shit in here because
That's
every
fair.
public bathroom is covered in shit. I'm like, I'm gonna have to wash every part of my body after I get out of here.
Right. Also, the guy's name was Ryan Haywood.
There we go.
Um, but yeah, like he did something wrong. He did deserve to be punished for it, and I
Mm,
understand why Rooster Teeth cut ties with him. Now, mind you, the amount of blowback he got because it happened at the same time as the Ryan thing,
yeah, kind of got swept up in that one.
totally unfair.
Oh yeah.
I legitimately hope that A, Adam is getting help, and B, I hope that he is able to bounce back
Hmm.
because his was something. Honestly, it was essentially just like a
See,
sex addiction, whatever you want to call it.
I can't. I see. Rooster Teeth can't even judge him because I've watched a lot of their podcasts, and what's her name? I want to say it was Barbara. I can't be for sure. It was one of the female people who worked there. One of the females. I can't remember which one. She talked about masturbating at work. Now, whether or not she was talking about while she worked for them, I don't know. But I'm like, you definitely can't judge him for that if people in your management in your own company have said they've done similar.
I mean, look, let's be real. Rooster Teeth, as we
Oh.
recently found out, was a dumpster fire regardless.
Hmm.
Lots of bad things happening. Not just Ryan. Again, terrible person. Or Adam, guy who made a mistake and was maybe a little aggressively punished for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, like there are varying levels, right? And should there be consequences? Yes. Um, but again, you can't. It's a very bad thing about society and the immaturity that we have with the internet is that people basically think that they get to be judge, jury, and societal executioner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, I'm gonna I'm gonna burn every movie that I own with you in it. Oh, I'm gonna send death threats to you, and it's like we have courts for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the sad thing: just because someone is found innocent does not mean they are innocent.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You obviously still get to decide what your opinion is. That is a
Oh, yeah.
right that everybody
Oh,
has.
OJ definitely killed his wife.
100% brutally. That
Like,
man killed them.
like there's no way around that. I'm sorry.
And I personally will never, there's nothing, but I will never watch something with OJ in it on
Mhm.
purpose.
I also, I'm as close to being 100% positive as like I can be without proof that Michael Jackson at least did some weird shit with kids. Whether or not he was a pedophile, I'll never know.
Honestly, whether or not it was even 100% his fault, if you want to look at it
Yeah,
from what happened to him,
that's what
that's
I'm like. He at least was weird around children
right.
enough to where people were like, he might be raping kids.
Right. And again, it is completely up to you whether or not you decide to enjoy that media going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, like I still
But,
definitely listen to Michael Jackson music, even though.
but, and
Mm,
I say this with full sincerity, with all levels, nothing, and I mean nothing that anyone could do, to a degree, I suppose,
mhm.
gives you the right to send people death threats.
No, no. It,
Nothing gives you that right. Nothing gives you the moral justification. If you tell someone to kill themselves, you're a bad person.
oh, you're right. Even you should not even tell actual bad people to kill themselves if you consider yourself a moral person,
Hmm.
because that is not a ground that you should stand on.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, I will fully tweet at Kim Jong Un, go kill yourself every single day.
Again, I did say within reason.
Yeah, but even like a moral person
You know what?
shouldn't do that.
You know what? Here, let me at least amend it a little bit.
Mm,
You should never send death threats to people who have been accused
okay.
of crimes.
Mm,
I Even if someone is accused of pedophilia,
I mean,
that does not mean they did it.
so I couldn't send death threats to Jeffrey Epstein. Like he wasn't convicted of all of those heinous crimes, but he definitely did it.
Well, no, he was convicted.
No, he wasn't. Didn't he die before his trial?
No.
I thought that's what happened because I thought he didn't see his wife went to court. Thought he was dead
Mm,
before the trial.
no, I'm pretty sure he was convicted.
You can Google that right now. But go along with your.
In fact, I think the thing was is that after he was convicted and essentially booked, he killed himself.
Yeah, very loosely.
Okay, here it is. He was arrested. So he was at least arrested on federal charges for the sex trafficking
Ah,
of
okay.
minors.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember if he actually went to court or not.
So I get since Epstein's death precluded the possibility of pursuing criminal charges, a judge dismissed all criminal charges. Okay. Well, first off, he's dead.
So, so technically, he didn't commit any crime. Hmm.
Again, there is also a difference of everybody who's ever worked with him has also confirmed.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not okay. There's obviously no perfect answer here that I could give.
No, no. I'm just asking
But
for the sake
yeah,
of like the conversation.
yeah, like again, I get it. It always is strong emotions that cause it. I do understand, but just stop.
Mm-hmm.
There are people whose job it is to determine whether that's real or not. And if it's real, I'm still not saying it's moral of you to write a death letter. It's not moral for you to go on someone's Twitter and tell them to kill themselves. It's
Mm-hmm.
not moral, especially if you're a religious person.
No, it you need to accept that you're a bad person if you tell people to kill themselves,
Right.
regardless.
Right. But at the end of the day, if someone is accused of something, if you strongly believe that the evidence is false, again, it's up to you whether or not you continue to enjoy that media. For me, if someone is accused of that, I stop consuming their product, whatever that is. And then I wait to see what the actual facts say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to people's Twitters and I don't say, oh, they're definitely guilty, fucking hang them in the street. I let people more qualified than me get the facts.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I make my decision. Were charges dropped because of a legal loophole? Mm,
Yeah.
doesn't really satisfy my my rage.
Oh no, the gloves didn't fit because you had him put on another pair of gloves before he put them on. He still murdered her. Mm,
Right. All charges were dropped because there was not good evidence.
mm,
That's You may not like it, but that's innocence.
mm-hmm.
How else do you prove someone's innocence except for essentially? I mean, yes, there's evidence of innocence, but there's
Mm-hmm.
also a lack of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, like that's how law works. That's how trials work.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
It's not the defense's job to prove innocence. It is the prosecutor's job to prove guilt.
mm-hmm.
All the defense attorney has to do is introduce enough doubt, depending
Oh
on
yeah.
what the severity of the crime is.
I mean,
Beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
proving crimes is a bitch. Like, someone could be widely known for murdering people, but without evidence, you're not gonna get a conviction. Like,
Here, great example. Al Capone.
oh, I was literally thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah, no one thinks he's a saint. No one thinks that he didn't commit those crimes, but they couldn't prove it. It doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
he's innocent. They had to get him on tax evasion. Like, don't get me wrong, the legal system is not perfect, but it's the way that it is for a reason. So, I mean, again, we're kind of getting off topic like we usually do, but it just always frustrates me when it's like, again, I watch Pro Jared again now, and I always wonder, it's like, how do those people feel? How do the people who legitimately, instantly believed that he was the bad guy, that, basically dragged his name through the mud, like, what do they do? What do you do after you do that to someone? Do you watch their content again?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that awkward?
I remember not too long after the whole like Ryan Haywood thing or whatever, uh people were saying a whole bunch of shit about Danny from Game Grumps, and like, oh, that he was like doing shit like to fans and like messaging underage girls and stuff, and they were just like ripping this man apart, and Game Grumps, because no one from Game Grumps said anything until I think like a month later, when they had a lawyer issue a statement that, yeah, none of this is true. And if you
Right.
have proof, go to a district attorney's office.
Yep.
Because it's like, if these criminal acts that you are saying are true, prove it. We will happily welcome an investigation.
Yeah. And also, this shouldn't be a hot take, but it might be a hot take. If you accuse someone of a crime, and obviously there should be a threshold, right?
Mm,
if you like, if it's obvious that you just did this to spite them or to try to ruin their life, you should go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
100%. No, no stop. No, full stop, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Just the same as like false rape accusations.
100%.
You are trying to destroy somebody's life.
Yep. You should 1000% go to jail. That
That's another
I
problem with the fucking internet. It's like it I mean, it's a good thing. It gets shit spread out and then like victims can come together. But it also has been like, okay, now there's 5,000 trolls making random Reddit pages and being like, here's my account of what happened to me.
Mhm. And again, here's the thing. You should always believe the victim, but you also need to be able to tell who's the victim.
Mm,
So, yes, when a rape allegation comes out, yeah, you should investigate it as if it is true. Like you shouldn't
mm.
go in with the mindset of like, oh, they're lying.
The way
But then
that
but
I
then when
look
you find out that they are lying,
mm,
you have to believe the victim, which is the person who was accused.
the way that I see it is I go to like the it's probably not the best way to look at it, but I go like you believe that you were hurt. And now it's your job to prove that. It's like I will accept that you think that you were hurt. But now you need to prove it. You need more than that.
Yeah. That's how the law works.
Yeah, I will accept what you believe as what you believe. But if you want me to believe it, I need facts.
Right. And I get it. I get it. Obviously, there are some things that are just hard to prove. But that's like like what do you want, right? It's like, oh, you want it to be that they go to jail if they're accused immediately. That's a bad system.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's as bad as all rape charges are always like dismissed.
See, I wouldn't be so opposed against that system if our fucking prison wasn't a death sentence in and of itself.
Yeah, American prison real bad.
Because I think it's like Ireland, like you are guilty until proven innocent. Like it's the reverse.
Japan. I know
Yeah,
Japan is.
and it's like I think it's Ireland too, because there was a whole case with a girl, an American there, that was accused of killing her roommates, and she never did it. It was a bunch of shit cops, but they held her in prison until like her innocence could be proven, in which she couldn't, and then like she ended up like getting out and getting back to America, and then they wanted her to come back, and like the FBI's like, no, you don't have evidence that she did anything.
I will let you know. Uh, yeah, I do believe that Ireland is, yes, the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty has
Ah,
been described as the golden thread running through the web of English criminal law.
I must be thinking of somewhere else then. But yeah,
Here, guilty until proven innocent countries. Brazil, China, France, Italy, Philippines, Poland,
France.
Romania, and Spain,
Why?
and Japan.
France, that seems like a weird place to have that. Aren't
Mm.
they all about like literally liberty?
Well, yeah, but I think the idea is if you are innocent, you should be able to prove that.
Mm, okay. I don't think that that's a smart way to do that, but okay.
Right. And again, I'm not saying that, like, the Me Too movement is bad inherently.
No.
Victims should be able to have a voice and to properly identify, people who have hurt them
Mm,
in whatever way that is. But there has to be order. There has to be
hmm.
logic. There has to be a fair, just trial. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
again, sometimes in a fair and just trial, the bad guy wins. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Like it happens. But the other way is that a lot of innocent people get hurt. I mean, again, if you want a good example, what was it? The God, what was it? Like the hanging of
Emmett Till?
yes, Emmett Till. I knew it was Emmett, but I didn't remember his last name.
Yeah, that was bad.
I it's this is what happens. This is what happens when you know there is no trial, there is no due process. It is basically the word of the victim against the word of the you know accused. And in a society where you always believe a certain whatever, in this case a white woman versus a black boy,
Mm.
he didn't go to trial. He wasn't found guilty. He was abducted by vigilantes, tortured by vigilantes, lynched by vigilantes. They shot him in the head and sunk his body in the Tallahatchie River. Yeah, and that's wrong.
It-
No one would argue today that that's wrong.
See, and
Was
that woman definitely deserves to go to prison. She's
Yeah,
still alive.
yep, should be in prison for the rest of her life. Aaron, I 100% agree.
And old people who commit crimes should go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So literally last year, a 101-year-old man went to prison in Germany because he was a fucking Nazi.
Yep.
I think they only sentenced him to like 5 years in prison, which it's like he's definitely gonna be dead. He's
But
definitely dying in prison.
right, and mind you, also prisons should not be torture buildings. They shouldn't be there to like make you suffer.
Yeah, a
We
one
should be like other countries where they're used for rehabilitation and to help people.
Oh, here it is. A 101-year-old man was convicted in Germany of 3,518 counts of accessory to murder on Tuesday for serving at the Nazis' very German word concentration camp during World War II.
Mhm.
Like, good. Fuck that man.
Yeah, he should go to prison. It's basically just a like a statement. Like,
Shit, there was two last year.
yeah, he's probably going to be dead within a couple months.
Oh yeah. A German court on Tuesday convicted a 97-year-old woman of being an accessory to murder for her role as the secretary to the SS commander of the Nazi Stuhof concentration camp during World War II. There was two Nazis last year that went to prison. Holy shit.
And again, double jeopardy is something that is controversial, and I'm not 100% sure how much I agree with it. But I also just found out that for the Emmett Till thing,
Mhm.
in September 1955, an all-white jury, so clearly very unbiased, found Bryant and Milliam not guilty of Till's murder. Protected against double jeopardy, the two men publicly admitted in a 1956 interview, 1 year later, with Look magazine, that they had in fact tortured and murdered the boy, selling the story on how they did it for $4,000, equivalent to $40,000 in 2021.
No.
Those guys, they are the type of people that I hope and pray, you know, were in fact like that heaven and hell are real.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hope that they are burning in hell. Because here's the thing, they admitted it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the jury, yeah, the all-white jury, yeah, I'm sure that they were real fair to him.
Oh, it's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's real fucked up. But again,
It's the one time where I'm just like, hey, Black Panthers, where you at? You can kill this one.
Yeah. Honestly, we could use the Black Panthers back now.
Someone's got to fight the Nazis.
Someone's
Might
got
as
to
well
fight
be.
the police.
I mean, yeah, might as well be.
I'm sorry, you already said Nazis. I
Yeah,
was just repeating you.
I thought I was right the first time. I mean, it might as well just be a repeat of World War II. What do you think the black people were doing then too? Also fighting the Nazis.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions, obviously, but your decision should be for influencers, producers, artists, whatever. Do I continue to support their content? And at the
Oh,
end of the day, it's up to you. Like, no, no jury is going to be able to tell you you can't buy fucking Kanye's CDs. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But it's up
yeah,
to
you
you.
should not.
And at
Oh,
the end of the day, if you're a religious person, you got to live with that. You kind of have to decide whether that's going to weigh against the old scale when fucking Anubis comes with his feathers.
oh no, I can totally watch him because he watched 21 Jump Street and then was like, "Hey Jonah Hill, you're Jewish," and that was fucking great. So I don't hate the Jews no more.
I'm sorry, are you being real?
Yeah, that actually happened. Did you not hear about this?
No.
That
What?
is so funny. Here, let me see if I can pull up the tweet. I'll read it verbatim to you. It's almost like that. Kanye West, Jonah Hill.
Oh my God, I'm seeing the article.
Yeah, like it is like verbatim. I think he's like Kanye or Jonah Hill made me like Jewish people. Let's see. Well, I don't think the link exists anymore. For some reason, it doesn't exist. Kanye West returned to social media for the first time in months late Friday to declare that he likes Jewish people again, all thanks to Jonah Hill's performance in 21 Jump Street. West wrote, "Watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again."
Wow.
Yeah, added that no one should take anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. No Christian can be labeled anti-Semite knowing Jesus is a Jew.
Hmm.
Yep. West then
So,
again thanked Hill's performance in a comedy reboot of 80s TV cop drama for his epiphany. "Thank you, Jonah Hill. I love you."
uh,
Yeah, this is the same man that praised Hitler and said Jews should like be killed and shit.
yep. Wow. First
Can't
off,
believe you didn't hear about that.
couple things there. Let's we got to end this pretty soon. We've been out for like 3 hours, but
Yeah, I noticed
um,
that.
first off, so no one should take their anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. How can you do that exact same thing with love? How how does Jonah Hill? I like Jonah Hill, I do. How does he represent every Jewish person in a
I know,
movie
right?
where
Like
he's
he
not
just
being
is
like a
Jewish. Oh my
right?
god.
It's almost like your religion really has no basis on who you are as a person.
hmm
Um, Second, no Christian can be labeled anti-Semite knowing Jesus, mind you, he didn't say is a Jew. Also, he said Jew.
hmm
Is Jew. He said is Jew.
Yeah.
First off, that's racist. Second, why would your apology have to include like basically like a backpedal? Oh, and by the way, I can't be an anti-Semite because Jesus was a Jew. That's like saying I
hmm
can't be racist. I have a friend who's black.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I I hate this man.
Yeah, I don't like him much either. He's genuinely insane. And he
Again,
needs help.
yes, yes, he does need help. He does need help. Let's be very clear about that. He actually has a very serious mental disorder and is
I'm
off
gonna
his medication, and he needs help.
I'm gonna hope he gets that help before he decides to come back to where he grew up, Chicago, and start spouting his like black people strife isn't real shit before he gets shot here.
Yeah.
Because that will
Um,
definitely happen.
Again, see, now this is my personal decision. If you continue to buy or listen to Kanye West's new material, you are a bad person.
hmm
So,
I agree.
Just
And
I
he doesn't even get the like he's a comedian pass because he's not and he's saying this genuinely.
Yep, he's a musician, not a comedian.
This is not uh fuck is his name? Is it Dave? Or Dave Chappelle, where he's like legitimately a comedian and telling jokes. Now his jokes, most of them probably cross the line, but
Probably.
he's still a comedian. There's a very large difference between that and a guy taking to Twitter and saying Hitler was right.
Yeah. But by the way, I have no strong opinion on the Dave Chappelle thing because I've yet to, and
I
again, this is
have
on me. I've yet to look into what he said, how he said it, a recording of it, whatever.
I've seen a couple of his specials and I can't say for sure, but it seems like they are all just genuinely jokes.
Maybe.
But I
That is
can't
that is
say. I've not seen all his work.
right. And again, I haven't consumed any of his content mostly because I don't think he's that funny anymore. So I just
No, no.
don't care. Like if I cared enough, yeah, I'd look into it more and then decide. But I just don't care enough that I'm
hmm
doing the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. You don't have to die on every hill, people.
No.
You just don't.
Mm,
People
there.
should be dying on the Kanye West hill,
Yeah.
and people in the Kanye subreddit, I don't care how good his new single was.
Oh,
Have
now
a fucking backbone.
my brain got lost, even though we're talking about important stuff. When you said "Don't die on the hill," because it was like, wait, what was the saying? It's like, "Don't die on the hill," because then you can't like stand on the mountain or some shit. It's like, don't die on the little things, because then you can't actually have a voice against the real things.
Hmm.
When you complain about every single thing.
Yeah, don't be the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, it like and this isn't us downplaying people's like genuine feelings. If you feel something like genuine about something, that's fine. But
Mhm.
don't be the internet crowd who's just like complains because everyone's complaining.
Right.
Please don't do that.
Actually, actually do research. Actually form educated opinions. And most importantly, don't make every cause a personal one. Guess what? There are things happening right now in the fucking NASCAR world, I'm sure, that
Mhm.
if I knew about might infuriate me. But I don't know about that world, and quite frankly, I don't care to.
I know a thing
There-
that they're doing right now that's infuriating me. Or
What's
not
that?
infuriating me, but that I think is stupid. They're doing an event in Chicago where they're blocking off roads in Chicago to have a race.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, and it's basically going to fuck up Chicago for 6 weeks.
Fantastic.
And some businesses might be closed forever because the streets are being blocked, so they can't get customers. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
bad. That's
yeah,
bad.
that's pissing me off. So, there's
But
that.
again, you're allowed to fight on the hills you want to fight on. I'm
hmm
not saying you can't, but you don't have to find hills to fight on. Find the
See,
things that are important to you and fight on those hills, but don't make things important because it is a hill that you can fight on.
see, I'm never gonna die on a hill over some shit that I read online. I really don't care what, like, even the whole Kanye West thing. I'm not getting online and saying anything. He's
No, no.
objectively like, that's not the hill where I'm going to make my stand. Now, if I'm at work or in the public and some dude is being super racist in front of me, there's where my hill will be. I'll do it right there. Someone will die on that hill, not me.
And here's the thing. I'm not gonna die on the Kanye hill because I don't die on any hill online.
That's my. Please stop making fights online. It does nothing.
Right. You can talk about it, but like, you should understand that it's just talking about
If
it.
anything, you're actively helping them because you are giving them impressions, which
Right.
translates to real dollars.
Yep. And so what I do is exactly what I'm doing with Kanye. I won't listen to his music. That's it. Like, how how do you hurt a musician? Stop buying their albums.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you can fucking post on Twitter until you're until you get a blue check mark in the face.
Yep.
Or you could just not buy any of their future albums and then they stop being a musician. Like,
Yeah, and definitely don't make. See, the problem is making such a big deal about it is that now the people that agree with that person know about it. Like there was one country musician
oh
who
god.
like said the N-word and then people made a big deal about it and then his sales went up I think like 60% or some shit
Yeah.
because it was people being like, "Yeah," and buying his shit.
Yeah. There was the gravestone in Chicago that was vandalized and it said Kanye was right.
Oh my fucking god.
Now mind you, yes, you should talk about it. You should bring attention to it. Don't let them get away with it in
Yeah.
obscurity. Like, hey, the fact that Kanye went from being a billionaire to barely a millionaire, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Do something proactive, but don't start a fight and then just get the racists riled up too.
Right.
Because that doesn't do anything. If anything,
Yeah.
it actively hurts you.
Yeah.
Honestly, be more Martin Luther King.
Less Malcolm X.
Yes. One of those systems work.
Yeah.
Like, it.
But anyway, legitimately this time, not because of arbitrary time constraints, it's actually getting very late.
Yeah.
So this has been another impromptu episode of Midwestern Goodbye, the podcast where me and Dan are just going to start in the middle of a conversation and you have to figure out what's happening.
Yep.
Make sure that you engage with us on whatever social media we might or might not use. Watch the videos on YouTube. And I don't know, I think we have like TikToks now. Do we have TikToks?
we have TikToks. I post on Twitter sometimes when I remember we have it.
Nice.
Technically, we have the ability to have YouTube Shorts.
Sure.
We don't have any.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, we got the TikToks.
Yeah. And remember, delete TikTok off your phone and make sure that you have location and tracking blockers if you use TikTok on your computer because it is actually and factually Chinese spyware.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
If you use TikTok, only watch our stuff.
And again, don't do it on your phone.
Nope.
Bye.
Bye-bye.